Your style and your flavor make the city rock. They must say the season come out with a bang. Coach Minzy, best round here. Remember that.
Taste Jamaica now with Ketchup Vibe Jerk Sauce.
Our signature jerk sauce is a bold blend of sweet heat Jamaican herbs.
How that jerk sauce taste, Charlie? Alright, man. Yeah. That Ketchup Vibe sauce.
This is Don Bones. I'm represent the Ketchup Vibe. A whole heap of sauce out there. But now we have the better vibe. Ha!
All right, people, welcome back to the channel. Thanks very much for joining us in another one here on the show. And we have a very special, two very special individuals that will be joining us on the program in this one. Just want to welcome everyone. And please remember, if you want to catch our vibes, please link up so that I can put you onto the relevant persons. So we will be having Coach Maurice Wilson, big coach, big technical leader from GC Foster College / Sprint Tech. And incidentally, Coach Maurice Wilson resumes duty as principal of GC Foster College in Spanish Town. And we are pleased, to announce his return, as principal following the conclusion of his well-deserved vacation. You understand? He will officially resume duty on Monday. That is coming up Monday, September 29. Yes, and he'll be reinstating his leadership, you know what I mean, at the helm of the institution. A seasoned educator, renowned coach, respected sports administrator. You know what I mean? Yeah, man, he's respected by many. Mr. Wilson returns marks a continuation of a period of progress and innovation for the college. You understand? And definitely we welcome him to the platform. This man doesn't do a lot of interviews, people. And the fact that we can get him on the program, I see it as a win for us and for everyone who is involved. Also, he will be joined by his son. Yes, man, his son will be joining the panel as well, as we have. For me, I don't like to say interview, folks. I just like to, sit and talk and have a conversation. I deem this as a safe space, where persons can, talk their mind and, tell it as it is. You understand? So, without further ado, people, please welcome Coach Maurice Wilson and his son Zach Wilson to the show. Coach Wilson, welcome to the show. Zach, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you very much, Coach Minzy. Good to be here. As you say, I don't do a lot of interviews, but you're a custodian. I can remember when you were a student. And of course, when you were an adjunct lecturer at the college. So, of course, I had to oblige.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. Zach, how is everything?
Everything good so far,
All right. No problem, man. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of just having a chit-chat in my estimation, how was the day, Mr. Wilson? What transpired throughout the day that you feel like you'd want to share with the audience?
Well, nothing much, a lot of persons will know I'm a homebody. So got up early this morning, got in my usual walk, and of course did some household chores. I like to put up cameras and do fandanglements around the place, and I did a couple of that, put up some security cameras, and then took some time off, got in some work, some paperwork done.
Yeah.
And I had a good meal. And as usual, connect with Zach to get the latest happenings, because Zach is a man who is a reservoir, a repository of track and field information.
Okay.
So he just keep me up to date with all of the stats and what is going on out there.
I wonder who you got that from, the liking and the love for the sport. Zach, you want to give us a little insight on that?
No, definitely. I mean, from as far as I can remember, I always tell people that the first memory I have of anything at all is being at GC Foster on the track with some of my father's best athletes. So like I talk about like Sonita Sutherland, Shaloni back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So all those people, I grew up seeing him coach. So I think all of that does come from him just teaching me, and me being around him and getting a lot of experience and knowledge about, the sports and the happenings around it. So
Okay, but me I gotta jump the gun a little bit, Zach. I know Coach Wilson might know mind that I probably tell you to leave out of that field. But you have any you have any thoughts, tidbit thought of becoming a coach?
you know, I mean, once you have a father like my father, you always I go have the thoughts. But as it is right now, as I focus on getting myself like, a profession first, and then if
Yeah.
that's where life takes me, then I'll be very, very happy. Yeah. So that's it.
All right, cool. All right, Coach Wilson, let's delve into it right now. Can you share your journey in track and field coaching and how you came to the role of leader or technical leader of Jamaica's World Championship, Olympics, NACAC, CAC, and the whole works? How did that all happen?
Just before I move on, I just want to acknowledge my other son who is not here, Macaulay, because he's also deep in the track and field.
Yeah.
As it is, you couldn't really have two of them on the program. Well, I would have said it already because I've broken my record because I would be doing 2 intense interviews in the space of basically a month because I did one before.
Yeah.
So actually my journey started in the 70s, and when my mom, because my mother was an educator too, and so she bought me a book with my mentor. I spoke with him today, Donald Curry, on the cover of the book. And I had an uncle who was an avid reader, so we would be reading out the library. In those days, you had libraries in the community, and we read every single thing from Nancy Drew, Hardy Boys. And then we started, when I got the book with Donald Curry, I started to do the research now in the library on different athletes like Lennox, Billy Miller, all of those guys, Jesse Owens, and so I my interest was stimulated from those days. I think that I was actually a talented athlete. However, I suffered a very serious injury, and what I thought helped me, I was out of school for like a semester, and I wasn't able to use one of my hands, my left hand. I had no strength in my left hand. So I started to read now, like bio, because my uncle was older than me, biological books and so on. And I actually started to employ like the exercises, the push-ups and so on. And I would say maybe within 2-3 years, I was able to regain strength in my hand, both of my hands. Not as both of them weren't equal, but I was able to regain strength. And from there, the interest in the sport became more interesting. And I didn't do in high school. I didn't do well because I used to suffer from dizzy cell. I was still weak from that injury. But then when I went on to college, I met Mr. Coleman, and I actually ran 48 seconds on the dirt. But in those days, we were doing a lot of 600. So people felt that I had the talent, but I didn't have the endurance. But they didn't know that I was sick before. And so a lot of times I would suffer from dizzy spells. So I couldn't manage. So my first official coach was Fitz Coleman in the early days. And it was in those days that I saw Stephen Francis coaching over by Wolmer's. And so that was how my journey started. And then now the injection came when I went to Stadium 87, 88 there. And I saw the big 400 meter with Thomas Mason and Daniel England. I would have spoken about that. And from then, my interest, I said to persons that it wasn't track and field who sought me. I was the one who went to track and field and embraced track and field. So that was how it started. In terms of my career pathway, my first trip was in 1999. 1997. I went to a cross-country meet in St. Lucia. And then in 1999, I went to, I think it was a CAC Games in Orlando, Florida. That was the first year Jamaica defeated America in a major championship relay. Stephen Francis was the coach at the time. And he said to me, you know, Stephen always doing some unorthodox things. He said to me, to us as coaches at the time, so listen, I am going to move Dwight Thomas from the 4x1 and run him on the 4x4 because I think we stand a chance to win. But in those days, you know, the J3 was run by some serious men, and they didn't play. They made you know what time of day it was. And Stephen Francis went against the grain. Now, all of us said we were going to support it, and we actually did. But then the J3 officials turned up and said, listen, what are you hearing, man? You're not going to run Dwight Thomas on the 4x1. And Francis, you know, Francis said he's going to run on the 4x4. When I look, you know, Minzy, every man disappearing. I was maybe one of two other coaches standing there in front of him. And he ran the team and we won. And from there, we started having a very good relationship. After 99, I started to produce athletes at the high school level. And they were performing very well. In those days, we only had like Merlin Atti, Juliet Cuthbert, and a couple others, Lauren Fenton, who was giving us medals on the international scene. So here now you have these youngsters sprinting very fast. And so there was some amount of prominence in terms of the program at Homewood. And I later went on to, I think it was Commonwealth Games in 2002. That was my first big game. And then that was where it actually started in terms of representing Jamaica at the highest level.
Yeah, definitely. And you are one of the coaches on the island, or probably the first coach who would have acquired the level 5 coaching certification, right? That's like the doctor, PhD in track and field, doctorate in track and field. You understand? So how would you describe your coaching philosophy, and how has it evolved over the years? Because you know that coaching is like you're cooking a pot of soup, and I'm a bridge would say, and you put in the different ingredients, and everybody cook a pot of soup and it might come out tasting different. And also you could liken it to, you know, doing experiment as a scientist. So you know changes are gonna happen and all of these things. How did that happen for you?
Well, the philosophy is crafted based on the type of athletes that you are dealing with, their particularities, their chronological age, their training age. Now, you can have different philosophy for different specific events. So, for example, I thought that at one time I had one of the more tested philosophies for the 400. It was tried and proven because I would have had a numerous amount of youngsters running below 45 seconds. And they were not necessarily top high school athletes. I had numerous females running below 51 seconds. I further proved the philosophy by getting a triple jumper to run like 50-0 at the national trials and so on. However, I departed from that philosophy over time and went to a different aspect of the philosophy, which when I look back at it, and when I look at how some of our quarter milers are performing, I think there needs to be some amount of alignment with that philosophy that was there before. Many other coaches would have evolved in terms of their philosophy. So I think it's an ongoing change that occurs depending on what the situation is, depending on the generation. Because this generation, they don't believe in too much of what I would call, for example, speed endurance work that is going to bring about a lot of pain. They believe in speed and so on. And so it evolves depending on who you are dealing with, the event and so on.
Okay, definitely. And you're right about that, because this generation is a whole different thing. And of course, whatever used to happen probably 10 years ago, coaches have tweaked it a little bit. You know, some foundational things would have remained, but of course, tweaking would have taken place. I heard you spoke about Frano and the relationship that you'd have had and DQ, but who is the biggest influence or mentor in the game or your coaching career, and what lessons from them do you still apply to your coaching or, you know, your philosophy, so to speak?
All right, so I have to be honest. I have it is hard for me to say that there are persons that I would admire their achievements. But really and truly, I can recall 1 year I went to Champs, and one particular coach said to me that you need to go to GC Foster College to upskill yourself.
Because you were at Michael, right?
Right, but she didn't know that I was trained. So she said, you need to go to GC Foster. How is it you come up with these fast people and so on? Because she never saw me in the scene. Because for a period of time, I wasn't localized here. And so she didn't know me from anywhere. Until one morning, she came to GC to do her upgrading, and I was her lecturer. In other words, I'm saying that there wasn't anybody that I saw in coaching that I said I wanted to be like at that point in time when I started to coach. So I really didn't have anyone, but I would have observed after being in coaching, persons like Glenn, and because Glenn was a pioneer, especially in the sprints. And I would have known about Herb McKinley and so on. But coming out of the country, because I'm a countryman, I cannot recall anybody at the time that I would say that I wanted to be like. But there were persons I admired. So basically my coaching came out of just reading and just... So if I was to look at someone, maybe Fitz Coleman, because he was my first coach at college. But my philosophy and so emerged out of reading and so on. I was never the type to really... I love to do different things. I was very adventurous. And I love to apply the science because I was actually involved in science at the time.
Okay. Zach, do you think where would you rank your father? Not because of your father, you're going to tell us a number one, you know. We don't want that, you know. Where do you rank him in terms of coaching? Based on what you'd have seen, you alluded to the fact that you are the man, you know, with the stats and all of these things. Where would you rank him?
Well, in terms of Jamaican coaches,
yeah,
I think you have certain categories of coaches. And it's not only from me alone, you know, a lot of people come out and say, you know, you have Coach Mills, Coach Francis brothers, and then people that say my father as well. But I think if it looking at in terms of like medals, you know, you're gonna have Coach Mills, Coach Francis, my father is there. But in terms of like bringing athletes from ground zero, now when you look at certain athletes that we've produced, there are they didn't run at Champs. Some of them used to play cricket, some of them play basketball, and we take them and make them make world teams and, you know, make a life out of the sport. So if you're talking about bringing athletes from zero, I'm going to be very honest. I think my father is the best at that. So I definitely rank my father high, and it's not only coming from me, as you would know, it comes from a lot of people. And I mean, him have a very good track record.
Yeah,
a lot of successes to show. So,
all right, very well said, understandable too. Coach Wilson, back to you in terms of what transpired at Tokyo, because that is what the people want to hear about, you know. And we're going to slowly move into that. Preparation and strategy, you know, that would have taken to, you know, go into this type of tournament, especially coming off the heels of what transpired in Paris in terms of levels of performance, medals. You know, the fans, the Jamaican fans, them love the Wolipa medal and all of them. So. But going into Tokyo, what were the key performance like objectives you would have set for Team Jamaica as the technical leader going into the championships?
All right, the technical leader title sounds big, but if I'm to be honest, it's really a role that you're asked to play at a particular time.
Okay.
And so you have to plan on the go, plan on the move. In 2017, we did not do well at the World Championships. And I had a discussion with Donald Curry, and I said, listen, we need to dominate Commonwealth Games and use it as a platform. And we garnered countless medals, and we carried that into Doha. for 2019. This year, after the Olympics, I said the same thing. I said, listen, we need to find a meet that we're going to target and try to build camaraderie. Use almost the same team, and that was NACA. At the NACA championships, the teams did fairly well. The athletes did fairly well. And a number of those athletes went on to Tokyo. But I think the biggest accomplishment that I was able to achieve, and this is just based on my relationship over the years with some esteemed individuals in the sport as agents and as coaches. And I'm not taking credit for it. I'm just saying that we were able to put the thing together with the president, with a gentleman by the name of QBC Global on this side, which was mostly on my side, who was that person we would have numerous contest discussions, fiery discussions, and I mean he would attack areas that he thought that we weren't putting the sort of energy behind. Adrian Laidlaw, Kishane's agent, who was willing to take on some of the responsibilities, of course, reimbursable through J3s. Gail, the president, of course, Glenn Mills. When Glenn Mills sent Oblique Seville to do relay practice just before the London Diamond League, in order for the team to qualify, there's no honor that is too great for this man. It shows his ability to put country above everything else. Steve Francis was there, and he was able to facilitate that through his camp. There was also Michael Fred. So that was a huge step. We have never done this before. And I was extremely happy when we were able to get this done. So that was the biggest forward move, I thought, for maybe 6, 7, 8 years after the great Usain Bolt and the Michael Freitas and so on. So that was a great accomplishment. We were also able to convince the selection committee, which they have always facilitated, to give athletes opportunities in different areas. So if you notice, Jamaica was well represented. The throws, the horizontal, vertical jumps, multiple events. And people don't understand. You don't have to get a medal. You'd want a medal, but your greatness as a superpower is judged based on the multiplicity of events that you participate in, right? So when you look at Canada, they get a gold medal in for example, race walk. That's an example. In the marathon, Kenya in the marathon. So it's not just the traditional events that we think that are the great events. So it's right across the board. And we are building through that. I was very impressed with Clunis. I saw her in training, and I saw the effort and the energy that she put in. And I was just so happy to see that we had a representative in relation to the hammer. You may say that, well, when we're going to get a medal? Well, we said the same thing about the discus.
Yeah.
Right? We said the same thing about the triple jump female. We said the same thing about the long jump. And we have seen those things come into play. I think overall, this was a great last part of the year for Jamaica. And we need to do this in Minji. I am telling you, it is important because guess what? The countries that we used to compete against, they are no longer the same countries. They are Brendan Rodney, who represents Canada, who ran a top of the line third leg for them. This man, and I don't want to talk his business, he was not in the best of shape. But you know what? He didn't even run the 100 nor the 200 in the Canadian trials.
Just the really is.
The head coach came to me and said, listen, you have 3 weeks. And the man, they invited him to the team. Remember, this man never run the 100 or the 200. And what is the storyline? They got a silver medal in the 4x1. So it was a great lesson for all of us. For those who are the purists in the sport, the spectators in the sport, those who really don't understand certain nuances in the sport, to recognize that when it comes to, for example, to relay, it's synergy, not necessarily the 4 fastest men, and handling the stick. So I think we would have achieved a lot, especially in this last quarter.
So pretty much from what I'm gathering, it would be very good team statement. Things in place.
No, I didn't get that.
No, I'm saying based on what you said, it would be like a team that was a great team that was put in place to ensure that we have moved away from what transpired that was quote unquote bad, so that we can get it over the hump or over the hill, so to speak. So in terms of like planning, competition, in terms of peak performance, I guess communication would have been held with their personal coaches and stuff like that, you know, to ensure that the conditioning and all of these things are in line. Was that also a part of the process?
All right. I think you brought up an excellent point. So we have to compartmentalize a number of things.
Mm-hmm.
Our coaches are very territorial.
Yeah.
And so your approach has to be systematic and well guided. It cannot be an ad hoc approach, because persons who are the best in the world don't get there by just doing ad hoc things.
Right.
No, I am not the type of person. I've never been that person to expose dirty linen in public. But you have to be able to balance on your toe to make certain things work. We have been doing this for many years. We meaning a lot of coaches who would have represented Jamaica. And I think, again, as I said earlier, for this year, we were able to do a better job than most years. The years that we won, the years that myself and Michael Clark, most of the times, were in charge of some of the best relay teams that you would have seen run. It was more than just technical knowledge. It was able to have a conversation with the stakeholders to make it happen. Then over time, it became fluid, Minzy.
Yeah.
The gel, they know exactly what was supposed to happen. Now we're building into that. What I can tell you, having sat with 7 of the best and most talented young men in the world, I will tell you, in no uncertain manner, that moving forward, Jamaica should be dominating the world for the next 5 years. Because I saw commitment from the men. They recognize what we're trying to do. They recognize how we can get there. They recognize that it is not just the fastest men again. It is not just using footsteps to do marker. It's about timing. It's about synergy. It's about getting the best fit for the position. So we have moved away from the old operating mechanism to embracing first world and what we have seen work for other countries. So I'm very confident that things will be better.
But you know, you mentioned something, coach, that I just want to pick your brain a little bit, because there and we will get in the relay conversation too, you know, because that is a big thing right now. All right, but I just want to pick your brain right now. I don't want to forget this point, where we know the zone has been altered to the full 30 meters. One time it was 10 acceleration and then 20 exchange, right? Now it is a full 30. I've heard many persons said that we are not maximizing the change in the zone. We are not stretching the zone or whatever. Is it a case where or persons are making changes and Team Jamaica does stick to the old ways? Whereas, should we collect early in the zone, mid zone, or in the end zone? What is your take on that whole development where the relay is concerned?
What is important is the speed of the baton moving through the zone. That is what is important, you know.
Yep.
Now, the philosophy still justify trying to get that baton moving
as quick
as far
possible
to the end of the zone, but that requires continuous practice.
All right.
I am telling you that we're coming from the days where before the 4x1 is run, we're doing handoff. And we will do 3 handoff, you know, because we can't do more than 3, you know. 1 slow, 1 medium, and 1 hard.
Yeah.
That is before you're actually running.
Yeah, man. That's the standard.
Now, who is to be blamed? We're not going to cast any blame. But we are saying now that all have recognized that this cannot work anymore. It doesn't matter how fast the men are. So we, after the national trials, supported by other coaches, we put a proposal together where we selected the 10 men out of the national trials. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Mhm.
Inclusive of 200-meter runners. And we are saying to the J3s that 3 times of the year we need these men in camp to do some training.
Mhm.
We have got the commitment from at least 2 of the top coaches in Jamaica already that this can happen. Now, I am very confident that the J3s have recognized that we need to get this done. And so, Minzy, come World Relays, where the team needs to qualify. If 4 of the top men are not available, we should still have 4 men that can run 37.8 or 37.7.
Yep.
Right?
Because of the
Similarly to what
constant
happened in
practice
London,
and synergy.
where the London team ran, I think it was 37.8. 37.78. Right. So that team would have been competitive. So at all times we should be able, and we're not scrimmage around to try to find 4 guys.
Yeah.
And that is what has happened to us.
That is a challenge over the years.
Yeah.
That has been a challenge. And it's good to know that things are put in place to ensure that that is rectified or remedied. One other thing I have on this, Coach Wilson, is that we see where people were named to the team, and after a while we hear that they can't participate due to injuries. And for me as a coach as well, I know that you can just go to the track for warm up and you get hurt. You understand? But is there any screening for athletes who have been named to the squad? I know that might be a difficulty, but how can something like that be changed so that we can have persons representing in events if for some reason a person is out because of previous injury or recent injury?
All right. So as you are aware, the top 3 in the trials takes center stage. Now, if you are in the top 3 in the world and you are injured before the trials and you are passed unfit by the J3's medical team, you can get a medical exemption. That medical exemption allows you to replace the 3rd place person if they are not maintaining form, right? Even the first or second if they are injured or sick, right? So I think what a lot of coaches try to do, because the sport revolves around injuries, whether they like it or not.
Yeah.
They try to hold until last minute to see if their athletes, especially if they're in the top 3, can get back to full fitness, which sometimes affect someone who could have come in or affect the whole team dynamics, especially if relay is involved. But the point you have mentioned, and that is why the J3 get a lot of beating, but the J3 also give coaches and athletes. I have to be rational, and sometimes when I talk, I get a beating because people say, boy, you're taking up for the J3s. But we have to be fair. The J3s, they are not as draconian as some federations, right? And so it is something that we have to look at because there's a cost factor to it, and there's also an opportunity factor where somebody else could have come in and replaced that particular athlete if enough notice was given.
Yeah, because I think, I don't know, and this is for me personally. I know of persons going in that was injured. You see me I say? You see me I say, Zach. So me would want to know what J3 or whoever is in charge of the medical aspect did. Is there a policy that can, and I'm not saying this to fight against the body, because I know there are a lot of variables and implications. That's why the coaches will try to, ensure that the athletes stay a little bit longer to see if they can run. I understand all of that, but can something be done to the and so you can screen these people?
All right, so Minzy, if the athletes come to camp, you know. If they don't come to camp, you will not know until when they are about to enter the village.
True.
Or if they decide that they are not going to be ready for competition. So this is where the problem is. So once they are in the camp, you would see that they would not have trained for 2 days. And then you say, Doc, can you look at this youngster? Or, so that is something that you have control over. It's a controllable variable. But if it is that they do not turn up to camp, If the camp is not mandatory, there's nothing you can do. You can only depend on the morality of the coach to make the call within a reasonable time.
All right, that part is understood, and you use a word that basically put everything in uppercase. The morality of the coach and the team that is around that particular athlete. So they are left up to their own values and standard. I can understand that. But in terms of how do you as the lead man now consider fostering and maintaining unity among high achieving athletes versus persons who are rookies and neophytes that are just coming in on the scene, a part of the camp?
All right. So let me try and put this in perspective. When it comes to professional track, it is unlike champs or unlike athlete,
high school
track and field. Athletes come, they come for business. Of course, they have relationships, but to say you don't have a group warm up, I've seen it in the American camp, with one particular group, but in the Jamaican camp, it is really about individuality, and so you have to find a way to bridge that divide. Now, I have had so many years of experience. I knew the days when athletes were very disrespectful to coaches in the very early days. And I said to myself as a rookie coach those days, boy, I am not going to tolerate these things. So I will go to the truck and I will just stand up. And if I say good morning and you don't answer, I'll tell you 100 good morning until you answer. Because we used to experience those things.
Yeah.
Until when we started to produce athletes locally, it changed the dynamics. Because the local coaches who were traveling with these athletes were their coaches. So we bridged that divide. And so you find that the camaraderie now is 100% better than I would say in the early 2000s, right? When you had the group like, and I can't call the names like Danny McFarlane, Chris Williams, and so on, you had strong dynamics there. And some of the ladies, Delorine Ellis, Lacina Golden Clark, Bridget, yeah, very strong dynamics, right? But you have to understand, so in the professional world, it's the fastest person, the man who throw the longest, and the man who throw the highest. And that competitive edge is needed. So you have to be able to balance those dynamics and make sure that when it comes to, for example, a team situation, persons can come together, which normally happens, especially in this new Renaissance period. It normally happens, not like in the early days, and get the job done.
Okay. I watched the previous interview, and like I say, yeah, break record. I don't know, coach. And Zach, thank you for bringing him out today. But you recluse yourself. But I want to ask a question here still, and it has to do with the relays, right? When two or more athletes are competing for the same leg or on the relay team, how do you manage the competition versus the collaboration among these athletes? Because that is critical, I'm thinking, collaboration versus competition.
All right. So that's a great question. In the early days, I had no problem. You know why? I had Bolt. And Bolt was the exemplar. He was the man who said, Coach, who is going to run the third leg? And I said, but Bolt, all of you guys are straight runner. I said, well, listen, tell me who you think. And I will say, X person. And he will say to me, say, Coach, if him don't run, me will run enough. So when you hear Bolt say, boy, he will run the third leg, you don't behave as if, boy, you better run the third leg. So you're ready to run the third leg. Now, in these situations, Minzy, we have to kind of balance the thing. And what I try to do in the last days is to work with the results of the trials. If you work with the results of the trials or the rules that govern the trials, you cannot go wrong. Let me tell you a rule that persons have overlooked. For the relay, it says that the top 4 are in the pool. Nobody else, you know. You can choose a shot putter. So there's no rule that says, Minzy, that if you come 5th or 6th, you must run. It's the top 4 men that is in the pool. So you can choose a hurdler. Listen, Zachary, 100-meter hurdler. Number 1 in the world this year, Jamaican. Tell me, no man.
Nugent.
Nugent. You could choose Nugent to run on your 4x1 because the rule says it's the only top 4. This thinking that if you are in the pool of 6, you must run is not so. But then again, how many persons know that? So you may be looking at it and say, wait, or then bring a man from the hurdles to run. And what happened to the man who come 5th? No. The coaches can make that decision. And we have to go there because guess what? You don't know what is going in the back room. You don't know if the 4th place man is unable to hand over the stick. Is a poor receiver passer. If the 3rd place man is the same. And that is why all the other teams that have been doing well, the Canada, the United States, have resorted to having their athletes train X amount of hours for baton exchange. What I will add to that, is Jamaica prepared to have a relay team without their stars? No, I don't think so. So it doesn't matter whether or not their stars can take the baton, whether or not they come to practice, they want them to run. The only time there's a problem, if there's a problem with the exchange, then them say, boy, this man shouldn't run. I should run lead off, I should run 3rd leg. But they are not prepared if you say, listen, only one time I've ever done this. We are not running Maurice Wilson, who is the number 1 sprinter in the world, because you know what? He's not a good handler of the baton. He doesn't come to practice. No, man. And remember, when all is said and done, we want team performance, but we have to please with Jamaican people. Because you know what? They are the biggest motivators. Whether them understand the sport or not, them spend their money, them travel go to Tokyo, they go to the track meets, you still have to please the crowd. I don't feel happy when I don't see a man like him pan and I make nice and attack or we kill her from her, whatever, not kill, or we beat up a country. Yeah. I don't feel happy. So yeah, you want to employ certain principles and so on, but you still want to please your audience.
But so coach, are you telling me then that without having the best personnel or people practicing, you're telling me that sometimes the coaches select the team based off pleasing the fans?
Never.
Okay.
Never. But the example I gave you, if you have your number 1 sprinter in the world,
they expect to see him run.
Right.
Okay.
So no man, I have never experienced coaches operating like that. Never. Not in my time.
Okay. All right. Understood. But so we have a problem, a continuous problem then, in terms of relays. How do we remedy that going forward? I hear you spoke about trying to get personnel in place, more than one. Are we planning also to get persons who are not a part of the 100-meter finals? Because in years gone by, we could look at a youngster like what's his name again, man, that anchored the relay and brought us back in a good position. He's an elite performance. Sanjay Davison, yes. He was not a part of the whole setup, but he was brought in, and he seems like a relay specialist. Are we going to do things? How are we going to remedy these situations? Because Coach Wilson, you know, and I know, Zach know, the audience know, that when we win the 100 meters, we want to solidify that by crossing the line first with the relay. How we remedy that?
We remember, you know, so this has been an ongoing problem. You know. Remember, so we run 1-2, could have been 1-2-3, and we never win the relay. And so obviously there is an issue. We should and this is how you're going to fix it, you know. Over time, we have a relay pool. You know that we're using Sanjay did not make the top 6, you know. But you know the man is a beast relay runner. I use Brendan Rodney.
Yeah.
That man didn't run the 100, didn't run the 200. And so while Jamaica may have an uproar at the start, once them understand the dynamics and the team is producing, they will grow into it. And that is why I'm saying to you, we have to move away from just the top 5 or 6 men and get the pool together. The people them must be able to pass the baton with their eyes shut. Them have an understanding, a synergy. And that is where we have to go. Whether I'm there or I'm not there, I am sure that the J3s have recognized. The coaches who are coming have recognized that has to be so. But I'm going to tell you this again. You know. The coaches are very territorial, and sometimes it's about the convenience of a situation. They will tell you that, oh, we needed more time and so on. But there are times when coaches can also be more facilitated, because some coaches, and I can understand, do not necessarily consider the relay that important in the scheme of professional track. However, because of their commitment to Jamaica, they will make their athletes available. But it has to be under condition that it doesn't affect what they deem more important. And you have to understand that in the professional world, because I'm telling you that the professional world of track and field is a very difficult, very costly, very difficult one. And a lot of the athletes, they are really struggling. And so the coaches have to make sure that they put the interest of the athlete at the forefront, even though they love their country. So you have to balance the dynamics.
Yeah, but one thing to coach is that when you look at, I hear it about the athletes and the practice and all of that. Where does a coach in that scenario, or where does a Maurice Wilson in that scenario stand? Is a Maurice Wilson or whoever is that coach willing to actually, you know, be one that will step outside of the box, the ordinary, make a thoughtful decision or even an impulsive decision to move somebody from a particular leg? Or when practice is happening, and I know that you really can't shuffle the deck so much when you're having a relay camp or a practice, because persons fit on various legs. But shouldn't it be a case where these coaches will be so much of facilitators that if push come to shove, all right, I'm going to put Zach on the first leg as opposed to the third leg? Do we have these type of coaches around that are willing to make those tough calls?
I think we do, right? In my time, I'm going to say in my time, we did it with Blake.
Yeah.
We put Blake on the third leg, and the rest was history. Right?
But that would suit. But that would suit your one, you know, because he's a 200-meter runner.
But at that time, he was never used to running the turn. It was Coach Mills who carried. When I went to Coach Mills, you know, Coach Mills said, "All right, Willow, I'm not going to talk like Coach Mills, and Coach Mills started to carry him out there and had really, because he was just coming to the fore. 2011, 2012. I think it was 2012. Actually worked with the man, you know, for the man to run the third leg, and the rest was history. I think we broke the world record. Yeah. Now, I think we have the talent. I think we have the talent in terms of the coaches who are now in charge of the teams. However, though, Minzy, we have to balance that now, you know, with the rules that govern the relay pool. So we have to make sure that when such a novel move is made, it is not to facilitate self-interest.
Right.
So you have to balance between not thinking on your side alone, but for the team.
For the team itself.
So that is where now I come in, or I should come in. But you have to also remember the dynamics of the relay, that there's a particular time, 1 hour before the first call time, before you submit the team.
Yeah.
And so if you give me a team, right, and I submit that team, and then you say, boy, I have 5 minutes left, and you say you're going to make a change. Chances are I'll make that change, because I am thinking that there must be a reason. And so we have to depend on the honesty of the coaches in making those, what I would say, out-of-the-box decisions. I do believe that we have persons of that ilk, but there are certain things that we have to reinforce.
Yeah.
There are certain things that we have to reinforce, because persons on the media have gone about it the wrong way. They're not educated in terms of the business of the sport. So they talk about people making money and so on. I mean, I don't know about this money really, because when an athlete gets a prize money, it is divided, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I don't know if coaches putting people just prize money or so on. But persons, for whatever reason, they make decisions that it really suits them, and not necessarily the out-of-the-box decision that you make, that you suggested.
Yeah, all right, definitely. I can understand that. The other point that the viewers are interested in, we hear conversation of Brian Level not committing to run on the relay team, and it is said it was a fallout at a particular championship. Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit for us, so we can have a kind of understanding? And if there was anything that transpired in the camp where there might be some semblance of understanding going forward.
You see, that is why I stay away from these kind of interviews. But I'm a grown man.
Yeah.
I'm a grown man. And so, without being a pipsqueak, I was not at that meet. That was world release. I wasn't at the meet. And I heard about what transpired. And when I had a discussion with a particular coach, the coach informed me that the decision was made in terms of a particular relay based on a head-to-head with two athletes. And he felt that one of the athletes emerged victorious. And so he made that decision. It was on that basis that he made the decision. I don't know if what is being said is true in terms of Brian not being available for the relays because of that. But what I can tell you, I was informed by someone very close to the team that he wanted to concentrate on the 200.
Okay.
He wanted to concentrate on the 200. I was prepared to go and have a conversation. And I'm going to be honest, there was some concern about the fact that other coaches would have made their prime athletes available to qualify the team.
Okay.
And there were other athletes who were not involved for whatever reason in the qualification. And some of those coaches felt that to some extent it wasn't a good look for them to make their athletes available, and some persons did not make themselves available. However, I was prepared to have the conversation. However, when the conversation was supposed to be had, we found out that he had some issues, some physical issues, right? But the young man obviously is well guided.
Yeah.
It was very pleasant, came to the team meeting, expressed himself, how he wants things to move forward.
Okay.
How the conversation, he wants the conversation to be had with his agent, his coach. And it was an excellent meeting. And so I am always prepared to take the lower rung of the ladder, not to listen to the gossip, to say, boy, the man is not going to run, and so on, but to have that conversation. And I think, in my mind, Coach Freighter was also on the same page. I have to give him credit.
Yeah, can we see that interview? Yeah.
To put the best team out there once the men were sound and fit.
All right, that is well taken. So, in terms of, to be honest, Coach, well, I'm thinking about this question, because you made mention of the persons felt away because they felt like this person was a part of the qualification. But if you look at the four that went out, one person was not a part of the qualification. So how that person was involved in running on the team.
All right. When you're implementing a rule, and it is a new, well, not necessarily a rule, when you are implementing a regulation and it is new, you're, in my mind, as an educator, you can't be hard and fast.
Right, you just smooth
You can't say, boy,
running. Okay.
you mustn't wear a white shirt. And the man turn up, having worn white shirt every day and said, don't come to school. So it has to grow on the person. The young man in question, the man would have proved himself. He ran sub 10 seconds.
Yeah,
right,
twice.
At the trials.
Yeah.
He also ran sub 10 again. When you look at the 4 guys, the numbers are stating that they could have broken the world record. Am I correct, Zachary?
Yeah, I mean, when you really look at it, I don't understand Coach Minzy why people think that we, as a Jamaican nation, and the coaches that are there wouldn't want a Brian Level on the team. The athlete is a star. He's a great turnaround, probably the best turnaround I saw at the championship. And I just still don't understand why it was a huge thing when everybody wanted him to run. I mean, of course, Brian go make some decisions for himself, in coaches, in management. But at the end of the day, I have to look at it that Brian is still 21, right? I'm about a few years ahead of him. So, I mean, if it didn't happen this year, it's going to happen sometime. Next year is kind of off season, but we have the World Championships in 2 years. So in terms of that, I just still don't understand why it was just blown out of proportion. And I mean, people who know Brian know that a very calm youth, the man barely talk, and it's just a very serious youth when it comes to track and field. So I think, you know, when you look at that, just give it some time. Of course, anybody who would be managing a team would want Brian on that team. So that's a case where there's, you know, discrimination or, you know, there's falling out. So that's all I have to say about it.
All right. You were finished, Coach Wilson, in answering that.
so you know that point too. Right. So one of those, I would not blame the athlete. I think that there was some amount of the organization, the communication possibly wasn't what it should be. And so you couldn't penalize the athlete. The man was 4th at the championships. The rules speak to the relay pool. And you spoke about out of the box. But in this case, when we're trying to establish something, in my mind, he would have justified running. Not necessarily everybody felt that way. But I don't think you could have gone wrong in using it. Because, again, anybody else that you would think of, he would have, in my mind, again, based on the results, defeated them head to head. It does not necessarily mean that he would be the ideal or the best relay runner. But again, I don't think we had all this time to give everybody the opportunity of doing almost perfect baton exchanges. So when you go with the top 4 in that case, you really, and this is a young man who would have done, was a part of a relay team at high school and so on, and who would have gotten a medal for Jamaica to maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's true.
He has knowledge, and it was just unfortunate.
But Coach, obviously there might be some sort of real there seem to be a relay policy, but it is not a strong relay policy in my eyes. Yeah. Because when you look at Golson, being that Golson was a part of the team in London, why wasn't he at least running in the heat? Or is it a case where the coach decided that all right, I'm gonna use the top 4, or since there's a relay policy, why on earth are we having a head-to-head before a relay person is selected? So I don't know if you're understanding it.
No, when you
I'm
said
having.
no, when you say head-to-head, explain.
It's so like when you mention the head-to-head, you're
No,
referring to
man.
a runoff.
No runoff. Nothing like that.
Okay.
We're talking about in general meets.
Okay.
So you'd say, for example, at a meet in Italy, the two men met and so on.
Okay.
The goals situation. And first of all, let me absolve Coach Frater from any form of blame game. Coach had his thoughts, right? In this situation, I felt the safest way to go, and I was strong on it, was to go with the top 4.
Okay.
That was my opinion on this particular case. You go with the top 4, whatever the situation is, you can't go wrong, because the man who was 4th would have proven himself. It's a relay policy, so you go with top 4. I don't think we have transitioned to the point yet where we can say, okay, coach, use a hurdler. I think that is what we're trying to put in place.
Mm-hmm.
So there should be no blame on Coach Frater with this one. But I do believe that we needed more time to even give this particular athlete more time to have engagement with the baton. And let us be frank too, and I'm going to share this with the general public.
Mm-hmm.
The full team actually started to practice when they went into the village. So really and truly, it was.
So them never did the relay, no practice never take place.
No.
Oh.
And again, I said it to you now, Minji. The coaches are not going to allow their athletes to practice before their individual event.
Yeah.
So goals. So listen, no, this is what could have happened. You had goals and Raheem there, and they were practicing. If you had 2 more athletes practicing, you remember we talked about the pool, and you find a way to include them on the entry, maybe those guys would be at 37, 8. You could run them in the heats.
But coach, look on a point I know, because Jodine ran in the heat, and some of the fans them, they gonna call them out. Some of the fans them never want Jodine to run, and Jodine show up in the heat, give us a blistering start, and we gone to the final. Is it a case where, and I'm not bashing the 4 ladies that went to the final and won ourselves a medal. Jodine got a medal for that too, but that's why I'm saying in terms of, probably adjusting your decision and stuff like that. Because if you had an excellent start or an excellent change off in the do we have to make a change in the next round? I'm just asking.
No.
Because I've been in situations
where
you make changes too.
You brought up that point. I don't know why some of the fans, that would be straight heat. It could be nothing else. That could not be based off numbers. Because Jodine was 4th at the trials. Not only that, we need to remember that Jodine sacrificed herself at World Relays, thinking that she could carry around the baton. I don't know where she got it in her head. And give Jamaica 4x4, the opportunity to qualify. She never even questioned the coaches. I wasn't there. When they asked her to run the 4x4, that is our commitment, What we had to do after that injury to get her fit for the trials was unbelievable. So now Jodine has been the most consistent 4th place runner that I've seen in the championships. Even at the camp, she ran 11:0 seconds by herself, basically, electronic. So she would have proven herself. So the coaches knew that she was good to go. Now, again, my opinion of the team differs. However, we got a silver medal. That's what the country wants. A silver or a gold. So who am I now? Because I'm a technical leader to make a big thing out of it. No, the country, it doesn't matter who ran. The country, Final 4. What they want is a medal or a gold medal. And they got it. So that is for a different discussion. But anybody who said Jodine should not run the heat, who would have been that other person? Because she would have, after the trials, she went to Nakak, She ran 11:00 in the heat. Picked up a cramp and run, I think it was 11:1 something. Then went to the village and in a time trial, with electronic time and everything, ran 11:0. So the public would not know that backroom story. So I don't know why anybody would come up with that decision. In my mind, she ran out a marvelous lead-off leg. And I think she could have run even better in the finals. Look at her split. I think it was 11:3, 3-3, and Shelley was 11:3,
11:3-2.
Right, and she ran in the heat. I think we need to allow our athletes to excel and don't come with our biases when they are performing.
Okay. Yeah. But like I said, I think she did an excellent job in the prelims, and it baffles me. And I don't have no problem with the 4. But another question is, where was Sherika? Why Sherika didn't run?
I was told that she had an injury. So when these things coming up, Minzy, you have to quickly enact a plan.
Yeah.
And work with what you have. Because what I think that you have to make sure is that there's a team out there. At one point, we hardly could find a team. And you know which team that was because of injuries. I think we could have done extremely well in one of the relays, but we had some unexplained injuries. And so you try to put a team out there as best as you possibly can.
Yeah, definitely. The rest of the world seem to have caught up with it does sound away, caught up with Jamaica when a little bit when it comes down to track and field, and some of the other countries that are not so full of fast switch muscle, they get into the technical part of it by practicing the relay, perfecting it, and that's why they don't need the fastest person to be running. They are quick in terms of the baton exchange. How are we going to move forward to ensure, especially even our quarter milers? And you from I know about you in coaching. You have been one of the most astute quarter mile coach around town, right? What is happening with our quarter milers? The world seems to have caught up on us fly past Jamaica where quarter mile is concerned. Even some of the other events, them are draw closer. Or is it that we are dropping our standard?
Listen, everything that you have said is correct. Let me start with the quarter mile coach. One of our successful coaches, he would have said that all the quarter milers are going abroad. Let me start. All the quarter milers that have distinguished themselves
from the pack,
they are going abroad. So the top quarter milers out of high school going abroad. I coach one is on retirement, basically getting out of the sport, and the other one was a footballer. So here we have a footballer who has bow legs, who still is learning the dynamics of the sport. So, and this is the man that I'm working with. All right. And so obviously we cannot look on a parent's child and say, stay in Jamaica. I don't think it's the right thing to do. I think they need to be given an opportunity to go abroad wherever they want to go, if they get a scholarship and so on, and then make a decision from a professional standpoint. But those who decide to stay, they have to go to persons who can assist them in moving forward. And that particular person may only carry them to 44.5 seconds. And if it means that they go to somebody else who can carry them to 44.2, then so be it. Yeah. And I agree with you that there's a dearth in terms of our output. But we had the same problem with sprinters, with the short sprinters a couple years ago. And I told persons that we were going through a phase.
Yeah.
Right? Big boy came and put a series together for us. 44-38, 44-0, and 44-2. So persons are looking at it and say, man, I can do it too.
Yeah.
Bovel McPherson.
One big boy.
Came back and ran 44-5.
Yeah.
And so obviously, and look at Bovel, a talented champs.
Mm-hmm.
Kennedy, a talented champs.
Yeah.
Look, so I want to look at the dynamics, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So when some other coaches have someone who they would have worked with and people start to look at them as a solid athlete, but this is a man maybe who never run in front of 10,000 persons. Kennedy has done that. Bovel has done that. Who else?
Watson.
Watson.
Watson was a star
in
terms of understanding what it means to get top performance. But obviously, coach would have done an excellent job with him. Right? So that's the issue with the quarterfinals. Now, let me tell you now where we're going to be. And I'm not predicting doom, but I'm telling you that a couple of years ago, we did a number of things. And we're now seeing the end product of it. I don't know if you were at GC one year when the entire Chinese team came to the college. And we had 2 Chinese students who were there studying. I don't know if you were at the college at the time.
No, I don't remember that.
And every single morning, they were out 6 o'clock. And if training was 4 to 7, they would be there. We had about 8, we were told that entourage, they were coming to visit. And we had like 8 professors. Every single one of them had over a master's degree. And by 2 years' time, they had an athlete that won World Junior. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
At one point, people started to quarrel with the Jamaican team so they make Chinaman beat them.
Right. I remember that one.
Now, we have also had sojourns. There are a lot of coaches who would have done stints in Africa and so on.
Asia.
The Africans now are taking over the sprinting. I want you to listen to me carefully. The Africans, in the next 3 years, you have to watch them. They are taking over the sprinting. I don't care who want to debunk what I'm saying, but we have to look at the gene pool.
Yes, no similar
gene pool. Now the Africans, they are getting scholarships. They are being more exposed. Their local coaches are being trained and so on. And we see the difference in terms of their performances. Another side of Africa, they are dominating the 400.
True.
And so we cannot sit on our laurels. We have to be very strategic in terms of how we're going to deal with this new wave of hungry countries who want the fame that we have. Because one of the things that is keeping us is our branding.
Yeah.
So if you are, no disrespect, if you're a man from Timbuktu and you win the 400, and you're a man from Jamaica and you come third, it's as if you win. But how long is that going to last if you don't continue to produce the stars? God bless our sprinters and our athletes who would have done well at these championships. They give us a lifeline for the next couple of years going into the Olympics. So your point is very well taken.
Yeah, but for the next 5 years, we have a continent to dominate still with the obliques, the Brian and Kishane.
That's it, yeah.
Them can't touch you yet. You see me, but we really have to pay attention because they are learning. I remember when some South Africans came in Van Niekerk time and they went up to Coach Mills.
Yeah,
and they did some whole heap of things. And if we believe that they are not studying, I remember
Simbini was here.
Yeah. I remember
the Australians. Were you at GC when the Australians came?
No.
Okay.
I also remember, coach, is that some of our coaches went to India.
And they're still there.
Japan. And I think one coach is actually there too. One of our better coaches is
our
there.
Top coach, yeah.
So,
yes.
I mean, we are spreading the knowledge and it seems to be catching up on us. But again, I don't have the problem with that because knowledge kept is no knowledge.
Universal. Yeah, it's universal.
You understand? So I have no problem with that. But in terms of coaches, we know how the athletes are selected for the team through the championship and top 3 next or whatever. But when it comes down to coaches, how are coaches selected? that there is balance in terms, because of course in Paris we heard of incidents where um athletes were not able to practice.
You're kind of breaking up. I need to. Yeah, you're breaking up somewhat.
All right, you hear me now?
Very,
Clearly?
very good. Yeah.
All right. In terms of coaches, how are coaches selected for the team? We know how the athletes are selected through championship, and we hear of athletes complaining that they are not able to get their personal coaches there. How are they selected to make that national team?
Let me start this way. In former years, you could hardly find a countryman like myself on a national team. It doesn't matter who I was producing.
Yeah.
It was really under Pat Anderson, where the I'm going to use the term countrymen because I know they don't feel bad about it. Started to get that exposure. Coaching for national that teams, it was dominated by the corporate era coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Over time, that was dissolved. When I started to, let me just say that I've never actually asked for a trip. I've always been asked to represent. For many more reasons than one. When I actually started to work as head coach and I was asked for recommendations, the first thing that came to my mind, I had to look at those coaches who were struggling in the trenches to produce senior athletes.
Mm-hmm.
These are coaches that are not in the limelight like the coaches who coach at the high school level. They don't get any farmer support, really. They don't have alumni support. And 95% of the time, it's a 1 or a 2% chance that they will get a medal. Even to make the final is very difficult. They have to absorb the cost of medical if they don't have support. I mean, I am fortunate that we were able to garner support for the college through QBC Globe and Adidas, or else the college could not sustain its sports program. So even though Adidas sponsors just one team, but it filters to the other person, so you save money over here, so you can buy volleyball, something over this side. So these are coaches who have made sacrifice. So that's the first thing I've done. Now, if I recommend you and Zach, it's a recommendation. It has to go to the J3s and it has to be ratified. But guess what, coach? You may come to the track meet, you may come to the meet, and even having had a discussion with you, you think that the only person you are responsible for is the athlete that you coach. And you don't remember that you're a national representative. Not only that, the journey of a coach at the senior level it's very, very fatiguous. Listen, fatiguous. You go to the track. We develop the system where you go to the track 2 times a day. Because not all athletes train in the morning, not all athletes train in the evening. So think about you going to the track 6:30, for example, to 10 o'clock. And then going back 4 to 7 o'clock. Plus you have your own athlete to coach. Are you doing that for 7 days? Then you're going into the village where the first race starts 7:30 in the night. And so what you'll find, why some of the coaches are not repetitious, they don't have the endurance, some of them.
Okay.
They don't have the physical endurance, right? And so in my mind, it's as if you have to train. I've broken down a number of times. But the concentration means is on those who are putting their time and effort at the senior level. Because I could have still been coaching at the high school level. I love coaching at the high school level. It took me multiple years to walk out of high school because I have more fun coaching at the high school level. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy the development. Right now I think about it, I get thrills just coaching at the high school level. Right? Coaching at the senior level is trauma. I'm telling you. Right? And it is more difficult now because of the competition. Because our coaches are exceptional and you have multiple clubs. Gone are the days where you only had 2 clubs. And so for you to excel, it takes so much. One of my main reasons it's to still be involved is because I'm at a sports college. We have to have some sort of association with athletes at the highest level, right? But it is very, very difficult. So the first thing is to look at those who coach at the senior level. However, there's a number. That's where the problem is. There's a number. And this year was our best year yet. We got 8 coaches on the team.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, and one of the things to coach, I don't know if that is part of the whole thing, to bring a psychologist. Are we carrying enough medical persons to these championships? I don't know.
You know, I got a lecture.
You answer that.
I got a lecture from one of my very good friend. And I must be 100% honest on this interview. I don't protect anybody.
Yeah.
And don't be politically correct.
Okay.
But I'm old school. I'm old school, man. I am old school, real old school. Right? So if you want to beat me up and blame me, no problem. But I will not go public on certain issues.
Yeah.
Of course, I've always been advocating for a support cast. Sports psychologists, more doctors. However, we have to be mindful of the cost for these trips. Now, when I mention the costing, I know that right now you have persons on the forum who is beating me because they are saying that you should go more, speak more. When you say cost, explain what you mean. I really don't want to go down that road because it's a separate part of the journey.
Okay.
But moving forward, the JHA will have to look at the best buck that they can get for what is out there, from a private sector standpoint and from all other sectors. So even branding, they have to look at it because the cost for the J3s to bring these teams is not normal. But they have to look at best opportunities that present itself for them to earn, even from some unexpected areas. That is how I'll put it.
Okay. All right.
And just to say, Minzy, you know that Adidas supports my institution.
Yeah.
Or our institution.
Yeah, man, our institution, man. One GC, you know.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, man. Fast to the until you see it.
Yeah, man.
But our teams are selected when you don't have a championship, especially like a world relays. I don't know if they have a regular
yes.
for Commonwealth and them thing there. How teams are selected?
Boy, I hope the president is listening, or the information will be transferred to him accurately, with the questions that the public and someone like yourself, a custodian, a moderator, excellent moderator, is asking him. Because, listen, gone are the days where information is hidden. And people need to know the answers. So when you don't have a trials, you have problems. But what have we said? The senior persons in the sport. We are guided by the champs, by the national trials of the previous year. Come again. So we look at the results from the previous year. And then we look at who we can infuse in the team setup, depending on whether it's relay. If somebody is running well between January, February, March, you infuse that person. But the main thing is to look at the trials result. A lot of persons they think that we should move away from that. But there's no other way you can select the team. You cannot exclude, just for example, Kishane and Obik. I'm going to use those two names.
Yeah.
Right? Or Sharika. Because when you look February, you think they're not running fast, or you don't see them running fast. Their program is organized for a particular time. But these are tried and proven elite athletes. And so sometimes persons are not understanding the dynamics of that. Now, someone like myself, I don't believe that I must run a lecture with that kind of information. Because I think if you come in and set up, you need to relate to the persons who are experienced in that area and look at what has been proven and what has been done before. So come again. No trials, Because look at what is going to happen for the ultimate games in Budapest.
Yeah.
So no trials. You look at the results from the year before, and you look at those who are running well. For the ultimate games, I'm not going to behave as if I'm a scholar on it, but based on my understanding, former Olympic and world champion athletes, and then you choose the best placed athlete overall.
Yeah.
So you only have limited spaces.
Yeah, I think that's how they're going to run them too.
No, next year, watch what is going to happen. Everybody is going to think that they are supposed to be a part of the relay food, because the relay is going to be the hot topic. Now, my suggestion and recommendation is that you're going to stick with the same pool unless somebody goes out there and run a phenomenal time.
Okay, add them to
somebody in the pool not performing. Then you move that person out and you put in somebody. And we will, if I'm still around and them ask me, we won't care what anybody has to say, which internet they want to go on, which face they want to put up. We won't care, because we are going to stick with the policy. And we have made it clear that we have a pool, and for you to come into that pool, you have to distinguish yourself. And if somebody in the pool is not performing, that person step out until they get back in shape and they're back in the pool. Simple as that.
Why do you think, Coach, the mandatory camps are not working? Is it the result of the coaches not wanting to derail their window of training?
All right, let me put that in context for you. We have never had a mandatory camp in terms of relays.
Yeah.
So the camp that was held in Tutori was just a camp for all athletes. It was a relay camp. What I call a relay camp means is when Brendan Rodney, in the middle of
that's
November,
what I'm referring to, Coach.
All right, walks out of your training and said, boy, I have to go to Canada. No, I have to go to Florida for 4 days. And he said, what? And then in December, coach, I have to leave. What? And you go to Orlando for 5 days. That is what I'm saying. That must be put in place, or else we're going to be behind the 8 ball. I am trusting, means that the president who has been around the sport from before I born with his team understand what is happening and will make sure that that is in place. If that is not in place, we're going to lose the trust of some of our top people, because they are not going to risk their athletes 2 or 3 days to practice in a relay. They're not going to do it because they have become a part of the setup and they are professionals. So the J3s now, it is over to them. And I am sure that, I am hoping and I do believe that they understand the situation that we're in.
As you talk about J3, is a question that pop up in my head, you know. it wasn't a part of the questioning. I promise you. But I think it is interesting knowing that a few of our athletes would have, you know, they're about to change allegiance. Any of your athletes have been approached to go on that star and red and moon side over Turkey there.
All right, listen, hear me good and proper though.
Yeah.
I am not the most liked in my house, you know, Bridget, because I grew up as a cadet. And
you're
so
strict.
Yes, what means you know me, you know?
Yeah, man.
I used to teach you, Bridget. We don't bend the rules. And that is why sometimes people kind of have not a phobia, but until they get to know me, them say, boy, this brother are going like him too serious. No, man. I grew up as a cadet. The only thing I never do is going to the army. Now, when it comes to country, I don't play. Now, I would be the last person to know. I would not know. They would leave and I don't know. It is not impossible.
Zach, you know?
If any athlete get approached from Turkey.
Yeah.
No, you have to talk to him.
But between you and I, no means it. Zach them have a different perspective, you know.
Yeah.
But I am almost 100% sure that if you were to really ask Zach his opinion on it, it would be a different opinion from mine.
Yeah.
I may have to just respect how they think.
For real.
I have different opinions on that for sure.
You want to share it or you just leave that?
My opinion?
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at when athletes change allegiance, it's for some reason, right? Of course, I'm a person that's always going to say, represent where you come from, regardless, because a lot of people before never had the opportunity to represent. And I think a lot of athletes, even though them change allegiance because, whether it be financial or support reasons, I think that when you look at a country and say, your country never gave nothing, but what happened to when you were grassroots, so I'm 20 in high school, coaches have to find some invest in your high school, have to invest in your gear, some, whether it be, sneakers, spikes, bag, some schools give scholarship. So, of course, when you're a professional, it's a different level and you're going to need more support, which I understand. So, when you look at an athlete switching allegiance, in my opinion, I mean, if it's for the right reasons, I'm all for it. But if it's a case where you're pushing or leaning towards the side where you're being a bit ungrateful to your country, I'm for, staying and repping your country. But, every athlete have different, things that they experience on a daily. So, I mean, it's all up to them. But that's just my views. I mean, my father probably have a different view.
Yeah. Remember, I'm saying my cadet, and him he's not the most liked person. So, we can understand where that is going. But, coach, what happened to Ricky and Russell? We know she was at GC first up.
All right, so she came for one semester, and I'm going to be very frank. She had some issues, and we put everything in place to try and assist her as best as possible. And she just took a different path. Now, we have to recognize it. For my setup, it's not about a club. So you leave in high school and coming into a club. It's an institution, a college. And so there are certain regulations and rules that you have to follow. And again, as I said, I even encourage her to go to her former high school coach. But those issues have not been resolved. So she has not been around the program from that period of time until now.
Okay. Because we know that she was there and she would have been one of those promising youngsters.
Yeah, I think she would have emerged as a strong candidate for the future.
Yeah, definitely. Coach, looking back at the championship, what are your most memorable moment or proud moment in terms of athlete performances or team execution?
Well, I think there are numerous performances that I felt elated about. I talk about Tyler Mason, one of the most deserving medal. Orlando, the man is just such a likable individual.
Definitely.
The man is disciplined. The man is decent. The man is just an example of how a young man should be. And so the medal is more than deserving. Nevaski, that performance, I was looking at the man's
champion.
Listen, the man ran 1:02 for the 500. That is what quarter mile has run sometimes in a time trial. The man ran 49 through the quarter. The man has taken the thing to a whole different level. That performance, and no Jamaican said, why the man come 7th? We have never gone down there. And I tell the story of the man at Naka, and that's why I tell the Naka was so important.
Yeah.
When his record was broken, the man said, Coach, we run 144. I'll come 2nd. Or 3rd, whatever it was. And for the man to come and break the record in the heats, and then to break our semi-final, and to break the record again in the final.
In the final, yeah.
It does speak. And we're talking about medals in non-traditional eras.
That's a medal for me.
Of course.
Yeah, man, that's a medal. I spoke about that. His performance came up as one of my best performance at the championship.
Thank you so much.
You have to mention that. That is a honorable mention.
Thank you so much. I have to give Brian Level, 1964, transitioning out of high school. I have to big up his coach. It was good to see Tajay Gale back in the medals. listen, boy, you know I'm a quarterman, Bridget. 44-28, 44-04. I mean,
One big
Rashid,
boy.
one big boy.
The pilot.
One big boy. But then the 10, the 10, what, 1076, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tina.
Tina.
Tina. You know, I've always, because I actually sat and watched her in that big clash with the young lady from Heidel, class 1. Remember that big clash? Liston.
Mhm.
This young lady is a champion in the boss. She knows how to win, you know. And I think her team did an excellent job with that 10-7 run. As a matter of fact, it almost looked as if she wanted to steal it. You never see. She actually was out there. Miss Jefferson had to run her down. So those moments were special moments. I also was very happy for the 319. It's a long time we haven't run so fast for the 4x4.
Yeah.
Knowing that we injected a 400-meter hurdle in the team.
Mm-hmm.
So kudos to those performances. And those persons also who made it to the finals. You have to big them up, top 8 in the world. Those who went and distinguished themselves. Ricketts, 1456, I think it was. Didn't get a medal, but perennial. She's also an example, Bridget, that young female athletes must just study her. Means I'm telling you, when you talk about an example, and people might say, oh, this man, he might behave as if whatever. No. Manners and attitude and discipline take you far away. Because what persons don't understand, you know, once an athlete, twice a civilian.
Mm-hmm.
And in 5 years' time, they are out there. You have seen them, Minzy.
Yep.
In 5 years' time, they are out there. And they have to live in a world that nobody's paying them any attention.
In a business
and so people are going to remember you.
Yeah.
From how you act.
Mm-hmm.
Active during your time as an athlete.
That's true.
So someone like Mrs. Ricketts should be someone that goes around and have the discussions with these youngsters because she's an example. So it was, for me, it was a great championship, not only in terms of medals, but seeing the emergence of our young stars transitioning, taking the rightful place in the new generation of athletes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, definitely. And I think the 1-2, to top it off for me, I had that on my list too.
All right.
The 1-2.
I was going to go there, you know. I was going to save that for last. I mean, when in the heats, I said to myself, so Jesus, I hope that is not the 10-7, you know. Because when I looked at the reaction time,
mm-hmm.
and I asked the man on the screen to work out the numbers, the man said, boy, that's a 10-7, you know. 9-7, sorry. And I said, oh my God, I hope he never run it out. But listen, the sort of confidence Silver was showing.
Definitely.
From doing the build-up, you know, was unbelievable, you know.
Yep.
And I saw, you know what I rate with these youngsters, man. The man ran a time trial at the camp, you know, my brethren. He ran a time trial. I think he ran 10-9, 110. The man never care who run with him. The man just go out there, go run. I mean, say, you know, so this is the attitude of a winner.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I said to myself. Kishane again, the man is a second silver medalist at a major meet. You think that's an easy feat? People try to kind of operate as if it is nothing. It's an excellent feat. He's still a young man. He's not as experienced as Civil. People don't remember that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So Civil was in the sport before this man, you know. And so it is only greater things that is going to happen. I know his coach, I know his team. They're going to push the button, man. It's going to be great. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting for the future. We are going to dominate. Trust me.
All right. Step out a little bit outside of your realms as a coach and as a technical leader. And just an avid track and field fan. Do you share the same notion that Kishane needs to build more on his speed endurance because he breaks down in the final 30 meters of the race? You share that same?
Let me go to a famous quote I heard. Could have been last night. Who are the people at the training session? May I ask? Hold on. Let me just ask a question again. Those persons who are giving those expert comments, those are the. When last any one of them would have coached anyone? Have they ever coached somebody to run 9.7? So you are saying to me, you're on the outside looking in, making all of these suggestions. You have never coached a 9.7 man. You have never coached multiple medalists. And you are saying that the person that is executing the program as a coach doesn't know where the shortfalls are. I don't buy that.
You know, so you're not talk like a civilian, you talk like a coach, you know.
All right. So let me so rephrase the question.
Yeah.
Let me talk. Come again. Ask the question again.
What you think Kishane need? All right, you think Kishane need to strengthen the last 30 meter race? God, people on the street are say, yo, Kishane, no speed endurance. The mall is a breakdown in the last 30.
I can't recall him breaking down in the last 30. You can't recall that?
Me?
Coach, I'm asking you, because you are a coach too.
Me not agree. I don't agree with the notion. Yeah, man, them know, man. I don't agree with that conversation.
Minzy, if I had no knowledge of coaching, maybe what I would say is that Civil ran 20.1 this year, I think. And I never seen him run at 200 before. It doesn't mean that it would make a difference. It could mean, as much as you may think, hundredths of a second, 1,000th of a second, something that he was supposed to do at a particular part of the race, he never do it. I don't know. I'm not his coach. So persons maybe, like an old school man like me, who believe in a speed endurance and him something. But then you have other coaches who their perfection for speed, their perfection for speed takes them to two different aspects of the race where you don't think is important. 35 meters, the man's supposed to be there in that. 45 meters, 50 meters, at 60 meters, if he's not there, he's in problem. So their approach is different. I don't know. I'm just saying.
And I think he needs some 200s.
Boss man, the philosophy of the coach
is totally different from
remember, you. Listen, his coach is a man that is a pioneer in terms of training. So if there's anybody who knows what is needed, it's his coach. Trust me.
Definitely. I share that. Zach, what do you think?
Yeah, man, I say the same thing on my father. I mean, one of the best coaches in the world. So for somebody looking on the outside and commenting on whether Kishane can finish a race, I mean, Fran has done it before, so he knows the downfall of Kishane. And I don't want to call it a downfall, because silver medalist 2 times in a row.
You can't call it a downfall.
It's not a downfall, and I'm going to run 9.7, so so in terms of that, I mean, I couldn't tell you, I would love to see Kishane run some 200 in terms of the scene where him could have put on, because he's a talented youth. Just like any other sprinter. So I mean, but in terms of him finishing a race and what Frana need to work on, Frana knows. So it's up to Frana.
Yeah, man, certainly.
Yeah.
All right, so we come off of the commercial break now. We'll go back and chat. Is there anything different you do, Coach? If you had the chance of what transpired at the whether it is a preparation or during the competition in Tokyo?
Again, I'm old school. The fact that two of the best coaches in the world were a part of the camp. I think it would be a good example to follow with all of the other coaches. Now, some of the coaches may not have been at the camp for various reasons. They may have had whatever, financial, whatever. But I think we need to come to a place, the fact that we're able to get the support of two of the best in the world, to try and infuse other coaches and athletes in the space. So I think that is something that I'd love to see happening. Sorry.
Okay. Cool.
The other thing is, there needs to be a conversation, and I don't know how we're going to do it with the mixed medley. You cannot go to an athlete and say your chances at getting a medal is none of it. You cannot do that with an athlete in the top 8 in the world, because that is what makes the event exciting. A man who was 7th come win. We have seen those things happen. So you can't have that conversation. But I would love, if I ever have an athlete that runs 50.0 or 49 seconds high, they would have to run the mixed medley before the flat event. Because I think the chances of them getting a medal, once they have the support team, would be great. So that is something that we have encouraged. It has not materialized how we want it, but it is something that we think, we saw a glimmer of it at Nakak, is something that we think can happen if the conversation, if the coaches embrace the conversation.
Yeah.
And finally, boy, I'm telling you, we really deserve more out of that 4x1. You know why? We basically put every single sanitary thing in place. And we can always say, if this man did run, that did run, and so on. But what we need to do is, we need to come to a place where any 1 of 6, any 4 of 6, or any 4 of 8 that run can almost give a similar result.
Yeah, that is what I'm looking forward to.
I think that's where we need to go.
Yeah, definitely.
And don't tell me about, the man them down the line may not have the speed. Well, guess what? The practice will make up for that.
Yeah, efficiency. Yes. Yeah, man.
Yes.
Because one of the problems we see with our baton exchange in a coach is that we say reach and put up, and we don't say stick in our hand. Well, it goes slow. Right.
Now, you have done extremely well at the high school, primary high school level. And I would have witnessed your athletes in relays. It is easier to teach them the stick change.
Yeah, because them slower. Yeah, man.
Not only that, they're more receptive to the info.
Yeah, definitely.
Anything we coach say, them do it.
True.
They deal with professionals, a little bit different. So you have to practice.
Yeah. That is true. That is so.
But let me ask you a question. And I asked a question earlier. Is Jamaica prepared if a coach decides that their athlete is not available for relay to run a team without that? No.
You don't have to finish the question. No. And when you say Jamaica, you thought the fan base, right?
Yeah.
No, them. Let me tell you, Coach Wilson, Mr. Willow, Coach.
Willow.
They give you all I name that we call you. Me know, say, you see the fan base, some of them are wobblers, some of them are wagonists, some of them only want to see people win, them not they through the athletes tough time. Some of them don't even know about the athletes. Former days. All they know about is now. So sometimes the fans them, and I am not taking that away from them, because remember the sport is a part of entertainment.
Yes.
And the fans love the entertainment package and the entertainment value that sports offer. So in my estimation, I believe that, they want to see that oomph and that essence of winning through the entertainment. So if them not see the top athletes competing, of course they're going to feel away.
Yeah.
Because even if that team win, but say if Kishane and Oblique did they would have been faster though. So they would have do this though. Me know the whole of that, man. And you see, people who are involved in sports, like the coaches, the athletes, the management, they have to have an understanding of that too, because sometimes they cannot allow the talks from the fan base to derail them. That is that fans will always be fans. Fans now got change. Fans jump off of the Kishane wagon quickly if you jump up on the civilian wagon. We see them thing there. So we know say yo, if Jamaica get a quote unquote low key relay team to go do something and them they probably win or them not do well, a pure cursing, a pure this, a pure that. So yeah, you don't have to ask a full question. I know the answer.
Hey,
right
coach,
away.
somebody in the group so we'll dodge a question about the last 30.
Somebody said that? You know me?
Yeah, man. Tell the person so they can contact me privately, man, and we can have a conversation.
Oh, Byron Carter.
Guess what, Minji? I tell you my modus operandi when it comes to certain things and how I operate. And again, the question on the part of a civilian, yes, but as a coach, there are certain kind of ethics we abide by.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, we know that.
I don't want to throw you off, but there's one thing I want to bring to the table, and I need for the spectators to understand. And I'm going to go country again. I have some of my friends and my top coaches in Kingston hate when I talk like this, but I have to say, some of the athletes are saying that the fans, if they didn't run at champs, they don't give them no form of respect. So only the names. So even if they are dominating a named athlete who was at champs, the fans them disregard them. I don't know if it is true, but I have heard a number of them say, "Oh, Mr. Wilson, just because I never run a champs, or just because I never the Jamaican run a champs, so they may be overseas athletes, and I can't tell our fans what to do because they build the sport, right? No matter how you hear them criticize and them cuss me and them beat me, well, not physically, but when them see me and them say, "Hey, coach, me never like that, I will start have a conversation. And them say, "So why you never say this and that and that and that?" So it now emerged to a different level of conversation.
Yeah, conversation change.
Some of the athletes are hurting because them say, "Coach, what else we must do? Just because we never got this school or that school and we name no call, them not rate we and them thing." And I said, no. It is because of who they are used to and the expectation. So I want the athletes, the fans, to show, especially those are overseas who come to represent, a little bit more love.
I agree.
Yeah.
I 110% agree. Because, I mean, like I said, sometimes I don't know the people, man, are the easiest person to go in at because you don't know them. You understand? So, yeah, I agree with you. Totally. And I will say it again, and it might sound like a scratch record. Fans will always be fans. Fans expect victory at all times.
Yeah.
And once you are, whether you do boxing, whether you play a Premier League for Manchester United, you understand? I'm not calling out a team name. You see me? Whether you play cricket and all of these things, people want to see winners. That's what the fans, like me said earlier, it's an entertainment package for the fans, So they are going to constantly talk. They are the experts in the stands.
Yeah.
Coach, but on the flip side too, feel like it's a culture thing where a lot of Jamaicans, a lot of us, some people feed off on negativity, Because when I look at, say for instance, what happened against in the 4x1 with the men's when them drop the button, the amount of hate comments for a man who win a silver medal like Kishane is so much greater than the comment section under when Shelly win her silver medal bout of the sport. So I don't understand the logic behind it, why so much people feed off on negativity. Sometimes the only time I hear a person's voice is when something negative have to come out of them mouth. So I just say fans are fans. People are gonna talk, but people have to also respect athletes that they're doing this thing every day for themselves first, because they have to feed themselves, and the people in the media not help them in no way but support them. So in my opinion, hope one day we can change from that narrative there where people just, feed off of negativity.
You know, me agree with you, Zach, but guess what? Here me I go debunk that now.
Yeah.
I don't think fans in sports has anything to do with culture. Because if you check in a different geographical location, whichever sport they support and the team now play good, I worries for that player. I worries for that personnel.
Football, you see that in a football.
You see it in football, basketball, cricket, tracks.
Yeah.
All sports right across.
But Coach Minzy,
especially when it comes to competitive setting and team sport.
Yeah.
Coach Minzy, some of my friends outside of track and field, when my name come up, and the man them throw the punches, and them start to quarrel. I'm gonna say the only reason why this is happening is because we're losing. Mr. Bridgen, you never hear my name 08, 09, 10. Bridgen, listen, I just today me check it now. I was head coach 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, Quarrick 17, 18, I think, 19. So you never hear it because we were winning. So as you say,
them like
once you're not delivering the wins, then they are going to find somebody to throw the blows at. Me not have a problem with the blows. The only thing is that I like when you know the facts. Some of the back room, hey, listen, I'm telling you, Bridget, and I can call his name, if I had a man like Coach Mills was to tell you some backroom stories, it would have been bestseller. But these men have held the order and they have protected persons because these same persons come distinguish themselves in a society. And I'm from that ilk. Certain things I will never say. So I will take the blows then because it goes with the territory.
Yeah,
but the truth be told, when you're winning, there's no issue. Once you start to lose, as you know, everything becomes a problem.
Yeah, man. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I mean, know that. You understand? Me the Panda podcast and when me do videos, and I most of my opinion, them everybody not agree with. Them blast me in the chat too. But I'm not going to react. Yeah, if I'm gonna get personal now, me I go step.
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah, man. But in terms of the lesson that we took from Tokyo, how will we move forward into the next World Championship cycle and Olympic cycle?
Boy, as the person on the platform said, boy, I may dodge the last 30 meters.
Oh yeah, but the dodger one too?
No, you see, truth in Jamaica, it does not necessarily yield your results.
No.
And I'm just being straight up because we can switch a narrative from the academic side to our reasoning side. Truth and honesty me believe in it, but people get offended by the truth. Don't tell me I mustn't care, because you have to care. Because I know me have some friends that beat me online now. I said, boy, that is the problem with the Willow.
You're not on top.
You're too politically
But
correct.
is it because you're part of the, well, I don't know if you're part of the J3, but is it that you're a part of the team?
All right. So
we're governed by J3.
The other day, the president basically attacked me and said, you are a part of the J3. So obviously the question came up and I had said that I'm not a part of the J3. Let me clarify. I am not an executive member. So I am not a part of parliament that makes a decision.
Yeah.
It appears as if I am an executive member because I've been around for a long time. So I have nothing to do with final decision making from an executive standpoint. But I'm a part of J3 because I'm a paid up member of the organization. So certain decisions I am not privy to. I don't get involved. I'm not going to say that there are not times when I'm consulted, but I'm not a part of the decision making, the lawmakers of the organization, right? One question again when you said me on that track. What was the question here?
Oh, may I ask basically what lessons from Tokyo that you'll carry forward to the next Olympic and World Championship cycle? Well, you that talk about the relay one already, so we get that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm actually writing the report. and I'm going to be very frank with the report, right? I think, and I said it to you, that the Africans are knocking on the door, and they are aggressive, they are hungry, and so our planning have to be methodical. It can't be like when we just go off of what was happening before.
Yeah,
it cannot be like that. Right. We have to plan and move with the plan. And when you say certain things, people automatically turn and start to beat the J3. But the J3 is an organization of Jamaica, just the same. And so all entities, we have to look at all of the entities, in and around the J3s, It's a whole encompassing thing, It's not separate and apart. I have a couple of proposals to make. I am not the most knowledgeable, the most experienced. I am going to consult with some of the major players in the industry. I think I do that well. And it's not my idea. It's not my ideas alone that is going to be involved. As a matter of fact, a lot of the spectators, when I read the comments, a lot of them are valuable points. And sometimes you'd want for leadership to listen to some of these points, right? I try to listen to everything and but I'm a consultative kind of leader. Because I'm more, we make the final decision, but we don't forget everybody involved. Sorry. So there are a number of points that I don't want to bring out to the public first without consultation.
Yeah.
It is not, in my mind, the right way to go about it, right? I am not going to deflect from myself. I'm J3 getting blame. I'm not that type of person. He's a stand-up guy, old school. So I will have the consultation. Then if a couple months down the line, Minzy come to me and say, boy, so coach, I'm going to tell you the truth. I went to them. I spoke with coach, President Gill, and he had assured me that so and so, and it never happened. If it never happened, and if it happened, that's it happened. But I will consult with them first before certain things that I bring to the public.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, that is understood. But say J3 is have to observe somebody beating with them yet. Because for one, me think the fact say there's lack of communication and the information is not being shared on certain things. The fans are going to go by what they have vision on.
Yeah.
So I mean, they have to observe some of that part when I mean, sometimes they are being beaten for wrong reasons, but for the most part, I think there's a lack in communication, press releases, press conferences and stuff like that to ensure that the public is affair with what is happening. I mean, there are fans. Fans should be a part of the the general public rather should be in the know. And I mean, it's not gonna be from a policy standpoint, but I certainly believe that. I mean, you're going to name a team, have a press conference. I mean, talk about whatever. We talk about that when I was talking about the football, and we have seen a whole lot of changes where the football is concerned. Press conference upon press conference when team are going. Me bat for that. 3 hours through COVID every day. Weekend triple treat with upon them show ya. And we talk. Our voices were heard. They put things into perspective. So sometimes coach them see like all a man like me upon this and things say you will not have certain knowledge on certain things. Because we probably sometimes on these shows and we not speak as eloquently as we can. You understand? So I think that there needs to be some sort of new wave of how we do things. I learned this. You can't do the thing the same way and expect a new result or a different result. You understand?
Right.
So I think there's a lot they can do.
I'm seeing on the forum, and it will be good to hear Zach on this and the point. But I'm seeing a big word on the forum, transparency. Right? And transparency comes with communication. Yeah. And I remember how I get string up over the same press conference issue, but by just a simple error. Right? Now, the thing about it is, there's no reason why you cannot be upfront regarding any situation. There's no reason. We are grown men, adults, professionals, right? You say what you have to say, you do what you have to do, and if there's an issue, then you try to resolve it as best as possible. So I am going to agree with you that the communication needs to step up. And it was just a reflection, you know, why I did the first interview. I said, boy, it's not okay for me to be representing the public for performance and just say, boy, I'm not care what nobody wants it. Because I could go into that mode. I say, what if I was to just tell people exactly what happened? I don't have no reason for telling a lie. He's a grown man. Right? I just tell her the truth. What if I was to do it? It doesn't take anything off of me. But I could say, I don't really care. It's not like me in a track and field every day of my life, whatever. No. You recognize that communication is important. People will still beat you. But if they know the truth, they will handle that. So I agree with you. But I would love to hear Zachary's opinion on this whole thing with the J3s and the communication.
Hold on. Before Zach talk, coach. Another thing, I don't know if you can relay that message here. Me said I did a video expressing, and this came off the heels of how the persons leave for Turkey are in the process of leaving. No communication, no thank you for all the labor that the athletes do for the country. Some simple little things that can, make a difference. Sometimes your mother never have the money, Coach Wilson, but a little hug and brush your ear, go to school in the morning. That makes a whole world of difference. You see me, I say? So even if somebody with money come, them have got to think hard and long. Not to say that now go persuade them, but at least the thought process are going to be there. So these little things, these little nuances need to be start happening so that, the athletes them now go just whatever. Me represent for the past 9 days or how many days me perform. But I mean, J3 does, all right, adios, amigos, and we're gone. Nothing after that. That needs to start out, man.
No, you mentioned a very important point. Saying thanks in multiple ways can make a difference. I'm just going to speak to something. I know that other companies would have done it, but I must congratulate Adidas because they this year they have always had it, but on hospitality. And QB Siglobin was the one who sent out the invitation. And when I went down there, I saw athletes from all walks of life, from all shoe companies down there having a good meal, relaxing in that atmosphere. And in my mind, I got the impression that they felt that persons cared about them. And I think it is the same thing. I am expecting that there will be discussion, whether through the government, from the J3s, in terms of how they can facilitate and show appreciation to these athletes. I'm going to go public and say that I can remember one year I came back from a meet. Because when I'm going to these meets, I'm a man who live in the bush. So I have to leave out 3 o'clock to catch a 6 o'clock morning flight. And sometimes, it's a one female carry me. And I tell you something, Minzy. I came off the plane, and there was the Honorable Portia Simpson, gave me a bouquet of flowers. I said, Carrie, go give your wife. She don't even know if I have no wife, I mean, I tell her, those flowers, they were there for me about months, never moved, right? So I'm just emphasizing the level of appreciation and how it makes a difference. I can remember 2017 when we had about 8 or 9 persons on the team, and the board at GC at the time put on a function and gave them awards and so on. What the difference it made. So
of course,
I'm agreeing with you. I will relay the message to the president as soon as I see him. And it's an excellent point again, coming off the floor.
Yeah. Go ahead, Zach.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back to transparency, I think it's vital. And I think you need more transparency. I think this year when the team moved towards like publishing who was coaching which team, that was a bit more transparent so people know who. I mean, granted that it's always been like this where you have certain coaches coaching each team. But like if you look back to 2023 where my father get like, criticized about, him being in charge of a team. I think that helped this year bring a bit more transparency to the whole thing. People, I realize that people, when they have the full information, they are better able to make an informed
decision or comment.
decision. So transparency is vital in my opinion. And I think it was better this year, a bit better. You have a lot of way to go still, but I think that helped a bit more. I saw more educated comments, coming out of Tokyo. So that's just my opinion on that.
Coach, I hear you mention. I don't know if this was deliberate to the coach. I hear you mention Adidas, I don't know if you have big up Adidas because they're a part of the institution. But where is Puma in all of this? Puma is the national kit sponsor.
Let me just start by saying, I mentioned GC Foster College. So you say I mentioned Adidas, but I mentioned GC Foster College.
No, man. Why? I know you did that. So I'm saying you said that Adidas put on a little thing and you see several athletes there and they get a meal and they were in.
Puma had their own hospitality too.
Okay.
But I can't speak to it because I didn't get the time to be there.
Okay.
So I just mentioned the thing because I think it's something that we can model here in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if we have I would do it sometimes, when you have a big meet, means it, you don't only facilitate the foreigners.
Yeah.
The participants are given free access. The J3s used to do it through their something they meet. But I think we can look at it from a broader perspective. So all those who are participating can feel welcome and feel a part of the setup.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. All right.
So I am with you on that. I can't speak about Puma because I don't have that sort of association.
Yeah, and that is understood. I just was kind of, what do I call it now? Can't find the word right now. But we did kind of try, weigh the balance, we see. I mean, but I know the connection. But as we talk about that, coach, I got to throw out that question at you, because the people, them ask this long time and nobody no say nothing in the public. We see article in the newspaper, the print media, but we don't hear nothing. I don't know if you're going to be open to answer this question. This wasn't a part of the whole script, but what go on with the Puma and Adidas deal? What transpired there? Why we never make a switch or why we stay there? So, based off what came out in the public and, talk to the coach if you can, but the public would have love to hear something like that.
Zachary, you have any idea? What is your opinion?
My opinion, well, I'm an Adidas 3-stripe QVC glove in Spence and L versus straight, right through. So, in terms of, that's, in my opinion, coach.
Yeah.
Adidas deal, I don't think anyone else is going to ever see that Adidas deal. So, I, as a fan of the sport, I was disappointed when that contract was assigned. Again, I don't know the reason why it wasn't signed, but I think when you look at just the volume of money Adidas was willing to pump into Jamaica and our system. I see somebody in the comments say we need a track in Western Jamaica. I agree, those are in the plans, but again, I don't know, coach, why it was not accepted. I don't know. You have to ask, people who made that decision. But Adidas 3-stripe, I say, forever.
Yeah.
See, now the man no more than me, Minzy.
I don't know you to tell me if him know more than you. But let me give you a few more seconds. Let me read that super chat here so you can, if you decide to answer the question. Because I know it's a tough question, But I just throw it out there still. If you want to answer, you're free. If you want to decline, I understand. Algie, big up yourself for that 50 Canadian. JA Pro athletes need more than just representation from agents off the track. Do you think the agents do enough to help the athletes get funding and sponsorship? So many untapped sources out there. That is coming from Algie from over Canada. Big up yourself, Algie.
Where you get this audience from, man? The man, they're very well learned in about.
Yeah, man, it's a potent audience, man. I'm not lie.
No, man, it's an excellent point. Mm-hmm. I know that again, guidance is necessary, you know, because it was today that someone contacted me who work on the website to say that, look here, some of the athletes, their brand is being abused. And I was having a discussion with QBC Global, and quickly he was onto it. He wanted to find out what was happening there. So you have some agents that are on top of things. Some are learning the sport, and I think they need to sit at some of the greats, because some of these agents are pioneers. Someone like QB would have started with Puma, have gone to Nike, Adidas. You have Adrian Laidlaw, which I think is one of the top agents in the world. You have so much. Robert Wagner. These are pioneers. Tony Campbell. And so some of the young agents, they need to learn and get the experiences of these older, more experienced agents. The point that the person made on the forum about exploiting additional sponsorship is key, because some of these athletes cannot, and let me put it in perspective, live off their contract alone, right?
Yeah, that is true.
They need additional income because it depends on the level, and a lot of our athletes do not make the kind of money that they can just survive off a contract. And so, especially when they are hot meaning that them doing well, you need someone who understands the business to exploit every single avenue. I tired of calling his name, but I must call his name. When QBC Global came up with Richard Mille, I never know nothing about Richard Mille in a virgin. I had to go and do the research. It was this little youth and this young man on the forum who said to me, look here, Richard Mille watches like what, how much millions? No, not millions, how much 100,000s, right? And so that was pioneer to the brand. After Blake, you start to hear about other persons having watched. So these are the kind of pioneer moves. And I agree with the person who made this comment that agents have to think out of the box and make.
Yeah, definitely. In terms of the medals that we got, I saw a report from the man Ian Forbes that, you know, despite our 10th place finish on the medal table, right? He says that the country's accomplishment is beyond the podium. And is that how and is that how we evaluate success of the athletes based off the medal tallies, personal best, progression, athlete development? Which one of the metrics do we most use? Because the fans them are deal with the medals, you know.
You know, coach. That's why I don't think I come back on this program, you know, because between you and your audience, you know. No, I have been reinforcing to you that I am old school. So we used to a pecking order. Age, that, and so we talk in line. So you are asking me now to respond to the manager who was my leader and Costas Rotolarum.
No,
You're
man.
asking me,
No, me not ask you that, man.
What hear me now, Bridget? let me respond.
Yeah.
It's simple. Our serious supporting public will love the sport and medals and deal with.
Yeah.
Right?
That is true.
So medals, and then the medals, depending on the quality, put your position on the table. Now, what we know is that we had the third highest amount of medals behind America and Canada.
Yeah.
We are also in line to have, I think our best medal haul was 12. So we are close to that. However, Jamaican people don't believe in a 10th and 11th, and they want to know that you are at least in the top 3 in the world.
Top 3, yeah.
One goal would have put us right there, and it never happened. So yes, we accumulated a lot of wares in the cupboard, but to the public's liking, that's not what they want. So we just have to be frank.
I don't know if you misunderstood the question, Coach. I was just making a reference to what the manager said, that we can't equate success to the medals that we got. Right. So I was asking you now, as the technical leader, how do you evaluate that success? Is it because of medal, personal best, and all of that?
I actually responded to that in a both ways. I think the order is medals, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can look at the quality of the medals. Then you can look at the performances in terms of whether you made it to a final. Then you go to personal best.
Okay.
But really and truly, the general public, some of them, they're not interested in no public personal. They're not even interested in a final.
Them just want the medal. Podium them I deal with. And at top of the podium too, you know.
All right. Top of the podium.
Yeah. So me glad we clear up that because I never put you against Mr.
No, man. I was just we just highlight the situation.
Yeah. All right. Moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a nice cadre of coaches, right?
Right.
But I am somebody who believes in succession planning. Right? And with that cadre that you have, very knowledgeable, noble persons. How do we sustain that success with these coaches, especially in terms of succession planning? How do we pass on the knowledge to up and coming coach? We know of a Jermaine Hamilton under your wings. He has been doing great, and there might be others who is possible under the wings of some other of the top coaches. But how do you see that going into the future for our track and field? Because we can't allow people like you, Prano brothers, Dennis, and them people with the knowledge.
Yeah. So, coach, you know me as having, when I'm on the track, 10, 11, 12 persons around me.
Mm-hmm.
Youngsters. When I'm a massage therapist, them just around me as if I'm a gang leader, which I'm not. Right? And it's all about, most of them would have moved on. Starting from Eddie, who was Bolt massage therapist, all the way to Sean Keckle, all the way, so many, right?
Mm-hmm.
It may sound selfish, but I think if you're serious about the sport, your first stop, if you're not a revolutionary thinker at GC Foster College, why? All the fundamentals are given to you.
True.
From the sciences of kinesiology, physiology,
anatomy,
to sports psychology, to nutrition, to biomechanics.
Yep.
To the practical and theoretical aspects of the sport.
Yep.
The rule and regulation, officiating, experiencing coaching, modeling, all of that. So it's a good first step. We have also broken down the programs, sir, where we do like what we call stackable credentials. So you don't have to come in there with 5 subjects. You can come and do a short course and we'll build on it. Like how you're going up a step. I think that is the first step. I don't care which other school is in Jamaica. I didn't start out at GC Foster. I have to be careful what I say, because I don't want to beat me up. I went to the best, all right, and then GC Foster now.
No, man, a GC that top, man. You know that third. That's why you mentioned on the GC name alone. Yeah, man.
Yes, the best GC, right? And polish up the thing. The information there is invaluable, and it is critical, Minzy, that we have the right set of lecturers, because you mentioned about succession planning. Well, it's the same thing with GC. We have seen the last of Maurice Wesley, pioneer.
Whoa.
Levy, pioneer. Daniel Arton, pioneer. Michael Clark, pioneer. So these were the building blocks, are the coaches of today era. And so it is important that the coaches gain knowledge. It is not only to watch a coach means a coach. And you come out and say, boy, you're a coach. You need to learn the fundamentals,
yeah.
The psychology of dealing with an athlete and all of that. And you need to take your licks and don't feel as if you have arrived. I know this generation don't believe in going step by step. I can't understand. But sometimes you have to take step by step to learn this. 2003, 2004, it was a race to the track, between me and a big coach, to watch people like Trevor Graham coaching, to watch John Smith coaching. The learning experiences, came through watching a lot of these coaches operating. And you never copy them program, because you can't copy them program. Because rain might fall So you have to come up with another way of doing, but you got the experience of what they were doing. And so the modeling is critical. It is important that the coaches that are new, it doesn't matter the success that they have now, they have to come to the table with humility. They have to understand the dynamics of what is happening in terms of moving an athlete transition. Because guess what? An athlete will move the first or 2 years from high school and do very well, and then to transition that's the term, to the next level in terms of what they would have achieved the year before is really the challenge is. I have always said that one of the pieces of the puzzle I've not been able to put together is Europe for many more than one reason. As you know, I'm otherwise engaged. And I'm not saying that I don't have persons who can deal with this, but this involves a lot of costs. I would have camped various different placements, and when you come back, the bill can't pay. But Europe is critical.
Yeah.
It is critical because after a certain time, we don't have the means. So all of these things, you need collaboration, right, with coaches. I don't have a problem if a young coach come to me and say, boy, Coach Willer, you're going to Europe this year. Can I come? Can I send? I don't have no problem. One thing you don't have to worry about me. I have nothing to say to your athlete. If they're running back we are up a tree, I have nothing to say. No athlete in Jamaica can ever say, I said to him, say, boy, out of the way, unless your coach tell me to do that, I do this. I don't believe in those things. So there has to be modeling, my brethren, and there has to be the knowledge. The coach must equip themselves with the knowledge and don't lean to their own understanding.
Yeah, definitely. So in other words too, I'll add to that doing only either a world athletics coaching course is good, but is that still the whole essence of becoming a coach too? Because like I said, you need the sciences, you need the psychology, you need all of the variables connecting so that you can come all on
the level, the World Athletics course is 2 weeks. Now, I have heard the nonsense of persons telling people that the level 1 supersedes a GC FOSTA diploma or degree or certification.
That is nonsense, man.
You go to a crash course for 2 weeks, Coach Minzy, and you learn the basics. It is nothing in comparison to getting in depth with the knowledge. So it helps, Mm-hmm. I did my level 1 1990, brethren. 1990. So you are telling me, so if I do my level 1 1990 and I still have my level 1 certification, I am still as equipped. I don't think so. Your experiences, hey, one of the key things about coaching, is making mistakes,
Yeah, man.
And correcting them.
Mm-hmm.
Record keeping. It was this morning, I'm clearing out my bag, boss. I'm 15 folder books, you call it. I don't know a different era, books where you write, like when you go to school. What you call it? Folder. We used to call them folder books, right? 15 of that me clear out for this year in terms of record keeping. And I was saying to myself, how am I going to go through all of this? So all of those things are important. Recording information, making comparisons, looking at the data, and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. I can tell you 1,000,001 mistakes that my team and I made. And I may have to take the beat because I may lead the team. It is a lot more to it. But what I love means our coaches love it. They're willing to learn. They are showing the results. And we have a good future in front of us.
That sounds good. That sounds good. And that is a solid advice that you give, that the first step should be GC FOSTA. Of course, you have to promote GC FOSTA. You understand? One college, one.
The content is there under one umbrella.
Yeah, man.
Everything is one package.
Everything is there.
Everything is there.
And
physiotherapy, everything.
The truth
medical, everything.
The truth is coach. Once you learn about the sciences and the basics, you should be able to easily transfer that knowledge to any sport that you take on,
I cannot recall that you were a track and field man, but you excel when you were coaching track and field.
Exactly.
So as I said, once you get the basics, you are able to dwell it to divulge in any other area.
Definitely. A football me did man. And, you
Right,
know, we
football,
take the
yeah.
track and field knowledge and we were able to, you know, step over another different realm there and do well as well. So yeah, definitely. One of the last questions more asked, I may probably take about 3 or so questions from the chat. And I want to ask Zach something before I ask you, Coach Wille, that last question. But let me read a super chat from Algie. Algie said if they use the same per capita matrix they use to measure crime rate, Jamaica would be the greatest track and field nation by far. By far. And I don't have to use that same matrix. I will say it without apology. Jamaica is the greatest track and field nation on earth. We have moved from just the track events where we are doing. See, we are even being more of a track and field nation now, the true essence of the sports. So we have been doing well. I take the liberty of overriding that, Algie. Big up yourself, anyways, from over Canada there. You understand? But Zach, we know your father get a whole heap of beating, say he made this mistake, him do this, him pick man when off on the team, and all of the ramblings. How you feel as somebody who love the sport, who has been around him since he probably don't have knee.
Yeah.
How you feel about that in terms of that aspect of him getting ridiculed in the public?
I mean, in terms of ridicule, I mean, people are gonna say anything, coach. People free, everybody have a phone, everybody can comment something. But in terms of how it affect me, can even talk for my brother as well, or probably my wider family. It really affect me. You know, I mean, coach, when you look at, you know, all the things that people have to say, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a word, it's just some words put together. Some might don't even make sense, but people just have something to say.
Yeah.
So in terms of negative comments, you know, hate, it really don't mean nothing. And personally, as I said, I've been around my father for a long time. Brought me on many like experiences, you know, meet many, you know, high players in the game when you talk about Nike, Puma, Jordan, Adidas, and the respect personally in person is always there. So I mean, when somebody make a one comment or so, it really brush off. I mean, him send me go good school too. I go Ulmas, me a Ulmas boy. And you know, if you go to all boys school, you know how the environment they stay. So when you go through a all boys school, you do 7 year, nothing where a man set you.
Yeah.
Can't have nothing for affect. You know, so in terms of that, I mean, people free to say what they want to say, but I think at the end of the day, when as I said, the information and transparency is out there, people are better informed of how they make them comments. You have some people that just like I hate regardless, say whatever it is. But in terms of how it affect me, I mean, it really brush off. I mean, them hate you now and love you later. So it's one of them things.
Yeah. All right. Sound solid, emotionally intelligent. That sound good. You can easily brush off that. All right. Coach Wilson, how you feel about it? Before me ask the final question. How you feel about the ridicule?
Well, I don't know if it is ridicule, because a man never see me face to face and try to disrespect me. It has never happened. Maybe once. And I think the person was local. It has never happened, because there's no reason for it to happen. That means a man, I don't disrespect people. I may sound a particular way, but that does my DNA. Separate and apart from my cadet experiences, at one time in my life, I used to hang out. I am not an inner city man, but I used to hang out in inner cities. I used to hang out a lot in the South Bronx. My association with certain persons. So I have a particular profile in terms of how I may appear, but that is not necessarily me. It's just an environmental makeup. So once it is not overly personal, so I am traditional. I don't deal with certain kind of situations that is commonplace that you see they're using the sort of terms about person's appearance, but not from that era. So I don't know I cannot say as an educator, as someone who should lead by example, that if somebody was to approach me like that, what my reaction would be. I would encourage all persons not to react, but I'm a human being. So I am not used to that. Separate and apart from that, it is not an issue. Once you're in the public limelight, certain things are going to come at you. Means you have to remember, so I'm in a space where I have to make decisions.
Yeah.
In that particular space. And those decisions are decisions that are final decisions. And I've been able to, if I'm able to navigate that space, then there's nothing that I can navigate. I will get offended if the truth is not being said. Because I'm a man, just talk to me and we can have an honest discussion. But when you fabricate things, I know you have persons who are maybe upset with me for certain things, right? But just be truthful. I want you truthful. Everything is okay. And you keep your disrespect in a particular vein. Because as I said before, I'm from a different era where what is normal, say, for some people is not for me. It's as simple as that.
All right. Well said. Finally, what are we going to do with this mixed relay thing? Because when we look upon it, it seems as if Jamaican track and field people not really, or the athletes are not too in the novelty event, and the mixed might seem like a novelty event, wanting of a better term. But how are we going to fix this mixed relay thing? Is it because our 400 is not where it should be?
That's a good point.
Are we not serious about this, the novelty, the mixed relay?
Coach, that's a good point because 10 years ago we could have we would have had somebody come in 650.5 10 years ago. So the quality of our 400 male and female makes a difference, right? But also to add in, coach, that look for the next mix coming, 4x100 mix. So that is coming. Let me ask you a question. Do you think you'd get greater involvement in that one?
Yeah, because it's shorter.
All right. So again, coach, I said to you, I cannot speak for any other coach. But if tomorrow morning I have an athlete that runs 50-0 at the champs, 50.1, 50.2, 49 seconds, I am going to encourage them to run the mixed relay.
Okay.
Before they run the individual event.
All right. For me, based on what I've seen over the years, it don't look like we take it serious. That's just my reaction.
Some of the coaches don't. And I'm going to be
there
honest.
You go.
Some of the coaches, they really don't regard the mixed relay. Because some of these coaches, as I said, they have to focus on the individuality of their athletes and their events based on the commitments that the athletes have. Right? But if you have a deep pool, coach, then you can pick and choose.
Yeah.
Coach, I want to ask you a question though.
Yeah, man.
About the mix 4x4. What you think about the team that we put out this year? I think it was on paper, exceptional team. You have Powell, Zanjan split 44 seconds flat. So, I think there was a greater attempt to take it more seriously. But when you look back at, lane, we draw, what was it, lane 2? Because we never have any involvement, little to no involvement at early lane, so we end up in a position where we draw for lane 2. So, when you look back at it, I think it's a seasonal progression thing we have to look into. You have to have more people coming out, athletes-wise, to those early lanes, because we see how important it is right now in lane draws at these big championships. But I want to ask you, coach, what you think about a team when they put out 4x4 team?
I agree with you that this year seems to have been an exception where there seems to have been thought towards that. And like I said, the team was a solid team because he had DNA who did well in the NCAA. One of them who actually came back and ran 2 excellent lead-off legs on the women's 4x4. So you're right about that. But then again, I don't think that Powell was in the best shape this year. We had a Zanjan Barnes who is always Mr. Reliable when it comes on to relays. He started out well in the season, but Coach Wilson, we don't know what go on in
You
terms
can
of
ask me the question, I'll tell you.
some people. May I tell you what the people ever say? Some people think say him you have him on a champ speaking program when him peak for January.
So this is the forum. This is the forum where you ask the questions.
Yeah. So what transpired with Zandrian in his
All right.
build
Before
up?
I answer Zandrian's question,
Yeah.
I see somebody in the chat saying, boy, the young men lazy.
Yeah.
So I think they're referring to the 400 quarter mile.
Yeah, the 400. Yeah, I think that's what.
And then somebody say you must throw with the mix, but we can't throw with the mix. Cause remember we talk about a global superpower.
Yeah.
So we can't dodge these events. Then somebody mentioned about is to give USA an extra medal, but I would say it's to give the Europeans something to win. So them staying at the sport. Because remember now, you know, so the Europeans host a lot of meets, Diamond League, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And so it is important. Look, we talk about Zandrian Barnes. So Zandrian Barnes is a man who used to play football. And we converted him. He had a fantastic year. The first year when I think he ran 44.94. This year now, we design a plan, and what my thinking is, if you want to run 43 seconds or 44 seconds flat, you cannot start from a 47. You need to start as close as you can to that ultimate objective.
Yeah.
So if when you run 45.3, your first run was 47. If you want to run 44.8, it simply means that 47 won't cut it. You maybe need to be at 46.
46.
Everything was going well until the man decided, well, not the man decided. I felt it was critical that he went to help and qualify the team. The man went, and I'm not saying he can't again, because we're going to try the same thing.
Yeah.
He went to China, came back from China, did not recover from the trip. I'm not going to throw my staff under the bus, because that is not so. But I wasn't here. I had other commitments. I believe that we didn't manage the process of his recovery. And so it took us almost a month to get him back. When he actually came back, I think he ran 45.2 at a meet. I would say, all right, we reached that turning point.
I think he did it overseas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The man was doing so well in training. But Zandrian is a man like this. It depends on which side of the bed he wake up on. He will just change his running. And Zach can tell you, the man will just change his running not technique, strategy overnight. But I think what affected him more than anything else was us not managing his recovery from China. Really and truly, you know, it should be 6 days for the time zone for recovery. And so when you get back into training, if you don't time it properly, you start the depletion.
Yeah.
But remember, people don't understand it with athletes. You really only see them 3 hours for the day. So we cannot say what is happening with that man.
Beyond that,
already
yeah.
And we're not making any excuses, but I think that was the main thing. And again, I hope that he will run fast same way. And if you say we'll peak him for champs, then the next time we want to peak him for character. And then possibly sooner rather than later, as I say, that we'll peak him for national trials.
National trial, yeah.
Yeah, but the truth about it is that the recovery after China. So that is why a lot of coaches, you know, really and truly, I'm not going to say they are not willing to send their athletes, but they know what it takes.
Yeah, that is true.
But boss, as I tell you, I'm a cadet. We can't get the call and turn it down. So now the agents are saying to me, but listen, the next time something like that, we make the decision because you two caught up with the Jamaica team, but my conscience can't allow me. I am going to try and push and encourage them to go and go represent the country and get the team qualified. But he did qualify the team.
Yeah.
Alone, but he did run a good leg with Kennedy and the other guys.
But you know, and this is something where me feel like it is important to track and field athletes recovery. We know GC Foster have the plethora of massage therapists out there, but don't you think, Coach Wilson, we should go beyond that now, where we have like a Edwards Eddie from the human tech car, you have a kettle. Can we produce some more top specialists like these people so we can service them? We are track and field nation, you know. Yo, I want to see something like that, man. Honestly. And as a past student, I want to see something like that. I want to see college at churn out.
Coach.
Yeah.
We give them the foundation. These men, all of these men are GC graduates. You know what they have done? They have aligned themselves with some of the best programs in the world. They have aligned themselves with some of the best agents in the world. I think, I have to call him name again, because people don't know. They see these people and they don't know. See, Globin was the one who was instrumental in aligning Tehnical with Adidas, where the human tech car became a part of the man arsenal. Think about this, Coach. And that's why I don't like the interviews, you know, because you just have to.
No, man, talk.
Think about
them, man.
we bought a shockwave machine for the college. And for those who are not in the know, what kind of foolishness is this? You have to have a buy-in. I remember, so we have a government-funded institution. A human tech car, you're looking at $40,000 US.
Yeah.
In the minds of persons, that should be 40,000 next and cheer. And that is why we have to move the college to a point where it is an entity for sport and sport education. So it stands on its own based on its speciality. That is what happened to institutions of that kind. So when I see the technology, you know, Coach Minzy, hear me scratch my head down and I said, how people run so fast? No. There's a club in Jamaica where we have more equipment than Jamaica itself for recovery and bridging.
Yeah.
You understand me? If you put all of the recovery equipment together, you're a club in Jamaica, we have that. Means we have to move away from that. As a matter of fact, and know that the president is going to be receptive of it. We are going to have one of these guys with the national program, because that is where it has reached. Because guess what? When these guys traveling, America, Canada, UK, they're applying for their services. They have some of the top international athletes in the world. When I sit down, I remember Tehnical used to come on my training at evening time, and I massage till him hand swell up. And see the man now is just pure equipment, and the man is just so world class and high level. I just have to smile.
Yeah,
but the truth about it, sometimes when you go in the camps, you know, and you see the level of, you go in at the Norwegian camp, and you see war room, on him treadmill and in whatever. And we're not bad man, and we're not grudgeful, but we're competitive.
Yeah, man.
So
Good things, man.
We're not making comparison, you know.
Yeah.
We just need to be average at least.
At least.
To tear them apart. So yes, I agree with the brethren. We have to move towards that level.
Yeah, because the massaging is fundamental. It needs to step up to our next level right now. And you see me, I say? You have something to say, Zach? So like you want to chime in on that one.
No, I mean, yeah, I think once you get more investment, you know, I mean, even like a place like GC Foster, where a lot of people benefit from, a lot of coaches, high schools, even down to primary school level, benefit from a GC Foster college. Would I love to see more investment from the government into a school like that, where is a central place for anybody, you know, in the sporting world, not only for track and field, basketball, you know, football.
Yeah.
Be able to come and receive top level care, recovery, or whatever it takes for us perform well in a sport. So yeah, would I love to see that happen hopefully soon.
Yeah, definitely. That has always been something that I want to see Jamaica, because we have been doing certainly well on the tracks, in the field, but we need to improve. I don't know the nutrition part because you can't study what people are eat, but me know so for sure we need to get up to speed with those technological aspect of recovery. You understand? I mean, your friend talk about it too. We have been stuck to the conventional methods too, and you have to move up to the age now where you're going into the unconventional methods. You see me, I say the mechanical methods not always going to be the way to go. You understand? So I'm gonna take 3 or so questions from Coach Wilson.
Just before you move on, I heard you mention nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I observe is at the national at the games, and even with some of the athletes that I'm associated with. So these people don't eat breakfast. They don't, and obviously it's a habit. They don't eat breakfast. Some of them are late for their meals, and some of them, I don't think the variety is what it should be. So it is obvious that you could get so much more out of them if they had a meal plan. So I'm not saying you must have all of the fandangle food, the this, the that. I'm saying just eat on time, and have something in your system for replenishment and repairing of muscles and so on. So this is something that I think we need to look at. I remember 08 and 09, I think it was, and 12, when we had a chef in the camp. Some of the people didn't put on weight, but the performances were superior to what we were seeing later on. So I think that is something, again, that we have to pay keen attention to.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Taking some questions from the chat. Tuffy Rudy said, do you think Anderson, that's Navaski, just breaks the door open for more 800-meter runners?
The man has shattered the door, because you can't tell Taylor same can't run 142, you know. I remember I said Taylor shattered the door by running below 144. And you can't tell the other guys that it is not possible. So I want to agree with Tuffy that the man has shattered the door. As a matter of fact, me think he's a good 800-meter coach. Well, in Jamaica parlance, because other man last year run 146 and him change camp and around the hurdles. But me love the middle distance. And so I am so encouraged, just sitting and waiting for a man that is of a similar nature, willing to do the work as somebody say on the forum. But I think he has shattered the door, yes.
Definitely. D Reed is saying, what of hydrotherapy and other water cross training to complement the ice baths and deep muscle massages? Me don't know if me I go answer part of that. I think they're moving away from the ice bath thing, you know, because people still do it, but based on some experts for me talk to, I know the best thing for the right now. So, but the massage is something that we can still indulge in. But the ice bath, if you look on some camps now, some people post on them social media, you know, see them use the ice bath, so recovery pants and all of them thing there, and other up-to-date machines that I use. So I don't know if Coach Wilson have anything to say on that.
Yeah, man. I still believe once the science speak to it, the new technology works, but once it equates with the science. So the ice bath, once it equates to opening the veins and allowing blood flow and removing fatigue, similar to what the boots does. And then now the person mentioned hydrotherapy. I think that's a key factor, because I can recall having athletes in the pool for like 2 months.
Yep.
And when they came out, you have to teach them how to run again, you know, but them strong like an ox. And so I think that the pool therapy is excellent, and I think that's an excellent point that the person would have mentioned on the forum for those who are coaches on the forum too, just to add to their memory and just for a refresher. Excellent.
Somebody asked a question again, you know, Coach. I think you know that person, Osana Webster. Coach Wilson, if you got the option to choose between Adidas or Puma for the national team and Jamaica in a whole, which brand would you choose?
All right. Sir Webster, you boy, I tell you, it's a no-brainer. Adidas, all the way. for many more than one reasons. And, well, I mean, I'm a grown man. If you look at what is happening on the business side, Adidas is the top, was it last year? The top brand from a commercial standpoint. You need to look at, person need to do the research on the stocks and the share, what is happening in the market, the business market. In my mind, the products are excellent. There is variety.
Mm-hmm. They look good.
Them hot.
Mm-hmm.
So, as a brand, Jamaica, similar to how the footballers look, when you step out there, you must see quality. I am not going to disrespect any other country, but I don't think Jamaica should look like a country who has never won a gold medal. That is just, and I'm not saying that they look like that, you know. Yeah. And I'm not giving Puma extra coverage for no fee, but they have made excellent gear too, and so on. But obviously, in my mind, Adidas would have represented our brand in terms of the look and the feel and the styling. And just remember one thing, because my father was a Ras, but Bob Marley, 3 stripe.
3 stripe live.
The top reggae man, them 3 stripe. When you see a man that 3 stripe, you know him is an original Jamaican man. So 3 stripe all the way. Yeah, 3 stripe all the way. I want my Puma friends and my vex with me. Juliet, you know me, you're my friend for life.
All right. Asani said him agree with you, you know.
Who that? Asani Wilson?
No.
Oh.
Webster, we just asked the question.
Oh, Webster. Yeah, sorry, Webster. Draw me out a while ago, you know, man.
Coach Wilson, do you think what can be done to get more men in the 200-meter event or even doing the double? Because that we know about track and field from them time, you know. 1, 2 double, 2, 4 double.
Where you get them audience from, man? So one time I thought that I was a good 200-meter coach because
Williams,
Rashid, you know me, and Williams and them guys.
Yeah.
But me even had Lansford friends who was a 400 man.
Yeah.
Get medal of Commonwealth in the 200. But me realized that the thing, it has evolved, right? When you look at what is happening with Ben Derrick, Tobago, and our own brand level, and the man who won, Noah, you realize that the thing has evolved. I am not sure if there is space, just to the car line, listen to me carefully now. I am not sure if there is space for the double unless you're an exceptional athlete. Let us look at the 4 guys that names are called. These are guys who ran the double at the junior level, you know. I'm not saying we're junior, you know. Community college. But not only that, some bad 400-meter runner them too, you know. Them can run a wicked 4x40, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a cross-breed, hybrid person that you need to find. Yes. And so you need to find, and someone said it on the forum, the guys must be willing to do the work. And I'm not disrespecting them, you know, like the ladies. I'm telling you, when you get a lady that will work, they will do the work. And so the guys will just have to put in the work. But we have a lack of 200-meter runners right now, and that needs to be fixed.
Yeah, definitely. Coach.
Yes, sir.
Which young top talent coming out of champs have you gotten this year? Or is there any rumor to that?
Listen, I'll be surprised if any come my way because, well, first of all, I've been out of the college trip a couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not used to getting a lot of these persons. And it's not as if I'm complaining because maybe there are other camps that deserve them more. I don't have a problem with that. It would be fascinating if I was to meet up on one, especially if it's somebody who's willing to run longer than 200 meters. That would be a blessing. I would love to see if I can try something with 2 or some quarter milers moving forward. But Normally, it doesn't happen for many more than one reason. And I don't have an issue, my friend.
Okay. How you balance being principal and head coach? I know you have your cadre of coaches, but how you balance that?
All right.
Something got to give, you know.
All right. And so it's my body that gives you my brethren. So every week me sick. Like no. Every weekend me have a nice dose of sickness. All right. So my morning start 5:30. I get in by 6:30. Morning training by 8 o'clock. We jump out, freshen up, get into the office by 8:39. If it's a second session, I jump out because you know that you have a man watching you for say, I wonder if him put in him hours. Him love this track and field too much, you know. But them don't understand, say, boy, me walk away and survive and water and bread and do me look a coaching.
Rice and ketchup.
So I jump out at about 4:30. I look and see, but this man don't coach nobody. And him leave office already. But wait. So I say, me can leave too. So I leave 4:30. And I will be at the track by about 5 o'clock and we'll start with training. Now, I think what gives me a lot of problem is the fact that on weekends when they have track meets, I don't get any time to recoup because you go to the track meets. These days it's not so bad, but you remember them whole day track meet.
Yeah, yo.
Yeah. Right.
And COVID taught us that we can keep a meet there short, you know.
Yes. So the worst thing that can ever happen, I have to go on a trip, like an academic trip. I may have to go to some conference. I may try to race from Montego Bay to come at training. I may miss train, those sort of things. So it is a very difficult balance. And that is why I'm very happy that you're able to entertain Zach on the program. Because personally, I used to do the stats. You know. Most coaches have no kids or one child. Possibly two. A lot of coaches are not married because the lifestyle doesn't give for that. Again, as I said, persons will say to me, how much people you get go on scholarship from high school days? Countless, infinite. The whole you never get your son a scholarship and the man can play ball. That's the other thing. And you feel bad about it. But then when you have somebody like Zach who love the sport and Macaulay too and understand it gives you some amount of comfort. But in terms of balancing the time, it is very, very difficult because as you know, at that level, it's a lot of paperwork, a lot of meetings, and people really don't care about your other side of your life. They don't care. They demand your attention now and then. Even if you're walking out of the office, you know, Minzy, a man will come to you. Say, boy, you know, I don't have a stapler in my office. And I'm like, but yeah, it's a tough job. But I would listen. I don't know if the Ministry of Education here. I would walk away from certain things anytime I'm just coach. I don't worry about the money or whatever. Because it's what I love. It's what I love.
Somebody say most coaches marry their jobs.
The person is so right. The man captured it, or the woman, whosoever it is, captured it correctly.
Doing Bart, you're just a fraud, man. The coach answered that question already. We don't know what she did right now. But I'm taking a few more. Coach, 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
How much you can give? Just tell me.
No, I'm okay now. I'm good enough, Virgin, because I'm making a lot of use at the time because I know starting Monday I don't have no time at all.
Okay, so I right time, I catch you then.
You catch me at the right time.
So you're right when they say now come back.
No, man. One is good. One is good for 2 years. One is good for 2 years. All
right, but not a problem with that.
It's good for 2 years, man.
Any question, people? Any question? Where people in them? We are 270 odd people on same way. Crowd, stand up. Make we hear some question now. Most respect. Okay. Let me see what I go on. Geraldine said injury also breaks down the psychology of an athlete, especially when recovery is long. That is why Bolt was able to compete regularly despite injuries and Elaine injury. What? Oh, look at Elaine injury and many other. I not to understand the last part, but I kind of understand what I must say. Coach Wilson, we never bad. You can come back. The person at Tracy B said we never the audience wasn't bad, so you can come back.
Audience stuff, man.
Yeah, man. And somebody is saying that good work on Ashanti this year because she has went to or gone to other top coaches, and only Coach Wilson would have gotten her to PB upon PB. What respect for that, man. Yeah, man.
Again, coach. Boy, hindsight is whatever it is. So, in February, I kept on saying to Zach, say, boy, I think this young lady can shock the place. And she went to Gibson.
Oh, my word.
Was leading and got hurt around 7-2.
May I tell you.
Coach, it took us, and somebody mentioned it online, about injury and the recovery and so on. March, April, May. And she has a very experienced and knowledgeable agent in Siglobin. And he brought her to the Atlanta games. And I said, he said to me, Coach, can she run? I said, Coach, she was in great shape before she got injured. And I think she's back. She ran 16.5 on the straightaway. And I said, boy, I think we're getting somewhere. Now, my top work good, Coach Pumps, Lamar Richards, and
Big
Sean Samuels kept on saying that we're going to see something special. Now, her agent was careful in terms of the selection of the meets after trials. Did I think she was going to win the trials? I wasn't sure if Sharika was going to run. So my thing was run top 3 because I don't care what you do, If you don't run top 3, you're on your own. All right. So she came through at the trials. I didn't worry about the qualifying. What caught me off guard was a series of PBs. And then guess what? I told you about Europe, right? She had no coach was there with her. She had other teammates. And so she was training, running fast. She was competing and running fast. But in terms of the training, I couldn't speak to it. When she came back, coach, in my mind, she didn't recover again. And maybe this is where we're falling short in terms of
recovery, yeah.
But then I had to start another cycle to get her ready for this. Now, persons might say, so it's a first, she would have been repeating the 20.5s. In my mind, if she was 9th, I think it was, if we were able to get her in the final, she would have run faster. Because she ran 11:37 for the first 100. Unforgivable. And we just didn't know what happened there. But she was always uncomfortable. Because she came to us with some serious scar tissue problems. Both she and Samuels. Samuels, sorry. And we did what we could. But again, I think where the recovery is now, we need to get there. And not only recovery in terms of the medical, but recovery in terms of time zone, traveling, all of these things. We see where the top coaches are mastering that, and we have to get there, as you suggested, coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And somebody also is suggesting that she seems to be a little bit muscular. Any comment on that?
Yeah, man. Yes, man. It is a day-to-day. It's a way. Listen, the only time I didn't travel with that scale was to Tokyo. And I found that scale. Every day we weigh and every day we war. Now, I'm going to share a little drama with you. You see, Europe, one of the greatest things about Europe, hungry make you lose weight. And once you have like a food, you will run fast. So she was at her best weight coming out of Europe.
Yeah.
So once you come to Jamaica, coach, and you start with our food, and you put on that weight, trouble to you have your hungry.
Hard to come off, man.
Yeah. So she's very muscular, and she's a big body young lady. And so her weight has to be managed at all times. She has now mastered. I would say now she's a professional in terms of her training and how she approaches what she does.
Approach it, yeah.
But guess what now? One of the things I'm saying to you, coach, because I've seen that too many times with persons a coach. Them have to carry it into next year.
Yes, that is.
You and I can't speak. So sometimes the audience come and box me up, Not go on a sprinting. The athletes have to carry that same attitude into next year.
Same attitude. And it's always difficult for them on the eye and then you go up on a lull and to try rise up because the hardest part of training at the background for some people, when you dig in that foundation,
There you go, coach. There you go. And so that is critical. We're not talking in business, but you have to carry that mentality into the next year.
Into the next season, definitely. I have to big up Ashanti, I don't know going on. Well, I'm not going to say it. Anyways, big up Ashanti, our athlete who I really love, So, well, if you know, you know. Are you disappointed with the generation of Leroy, McLaughlin, White, etc.? Do better as professionals given the talent they possess from an early age? Before you start answer, coach, who me feel say never get matriculate? Sonita.
All right. You're spot on. So let me just put everything in perspective. You see, when these youngsters were at high school, I used to coach them. And you have to understand the dynamics at that time. You're in the country, you're running fast, and not beating Kingston people or corporate area. But they were the major players at the time. They come to a camp in Kingston, and people start to tell them all sort of thing. And so you have influences, right? In my mind, a lot of decisions that were made then, if it was now, would not have been made. What I did when I recognized what was happening, I decided to coach to take on Rosemary White, who was a triple jumper at the time. Because I said, no man, something must be wrong. I'm going to try coach her myself at the next level. So she came to GC, and in a year she was a national champion. Made it to the Olympic final. Now, she later went to another club after that. No issue. So, in terms of the continuity, I really never had that. As you know, Anisha went to MVP and then came back in her later days. We brought her to the 400. She got a medal in the relay. People say a lot of things about the youngsters, but you have to remember, so there's no hard and fast rule that the transition is going to take place, especially when they are young stars.
It's not linear.
No, it's not linear. And so management is critical. I'm not saying if I'd coached all of them through high school years, they would have been Olympic champion. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying that advice and choices at that particular point could have made a difference. I think Sanita Sutherland was so talented. So after high school, she did a year, then went to another club. And for whatever reason, it just never materialized. So I do believe if it was no. And then I was interested in coaching seniors. That was the only athlete I was coaching at the time was Christopher Williams. Yeah, so that wasn't on my thing. We just wanted to coach and so on. And when they reached that stage and they said, well, they want to go here and they wanted to go there. I remember taking Anisha from junior college. She came back to Jamaica and she was with me for a period of time. And then she said, Coach, I want to go up to UTEC because this is where I can do what I wanted to do, because she was a brilliant young lady. Still is. And I encouraged it. Russell won World Junior gold with me as a hurdler. And she said, Coach, I want to go to UTEC. Russell coming. So I can't speak to every single case, but those who I had some amount of control over, I personally think I did the best with them. Anastasia had some physical issues with her back and so on. And she was not a great eater in the early days. But then she became one of Jamaica's most consistent,
reliable,
and reliable thing. And we would love to measure our success with individual medals. But separate and apart from Commonwealth, where she got a silver, and other. She never got an individual medal at Worlds or the Olympics, but relay medals. And so, sometimes you have to measure the success after that. But I think if it was now, things would have been different.
Yeah. Jonian is saying, do you think Jamaica is producing enough coaches for the more technical events like field events? And do you think there's room for improvement? If yes, what is the strategy going forward?
Well, we have Julian Robinson. We have Marlon Gale that I think is, following the footsteps of the veteran. We have Michael Vassou. We have a number of them. We have David Riley, who has done his part in the jumps. My honest opinion is that I think there needs to be more exposure. There needs to be more collaboration. So someone like Julian, I think, should be up in Arizona or up in, I was about to say Ukraine, but somewhere in one of those European countries where throwing is like sprinting. And so he's able to engage other coaches because he's a very popular coach on the international scene, and so on. The fact that our athletes are showing potential, we need to make an all-out effort to encourage and support our coaches because, as you know, if you don't deliver in the field event, you don't get any attention. You have to go gold or silver or bronze. If you make the final, it means nothing to our Jamaican public. So they need the support.
Mm-hmm. Hey, hear that question, a question of sample, If track and field, I gave you $10 million to spend on Jamaica track and field, where would you start? That is from Rand Altar.
Let's start with the track in Mobile. Because I think that there's unexplored talent. And I am not going to be politically correct. I'm just going to be pragmatic and practical. I think the minister that we have, when it comes to culture and sports, she have the country's interest. I don't know what is the problem, but I would have to start with Mumbai with a track. Then I would build one of the best recovery medical clinics in the world. I would send for the best. I would go over to Germany, and Mullah would have to come down here and spend some time. I would go over to Florida, and Vija could have to come over here and spend some time. And all of these doctors here, who I rate, like Dr. Jones, Dr. Arden, all of them. What's the name of your good friend again, Zach?
Matt Doyle.
Matt Doyle. All of these top doctors, Dr. Dawson, all of them. I would want for them to be in a position where they are able to do 3 knee surgeries per week.
Mm.
And so the practice is there. Because if we were ever to have that, we totally dominate the world. The other thing that I would do, I would have a universal weight training center.
Mm.
Because guess what? I don't think the philosophy of weight training is fully alive and well in Jamaica.
Yes, strength and conditioning.
Thank you so much, boss. It is great to hear a man can add to the conversation in such a strength and conditioning, right?
Yeah.
I would definitely have that. And most importantly, sir, the man who mentioned the $10 million, we would have a dormitory. We would have, so for example, with the relay team now,
mm-hmm.
JJ wouldn't have to scourge around to try and find a hotel to put up 2 guys coming from America, Raheem and others. You have a dorm that is a world-class dorm.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're at certain point in time, you can book out AC hotel and you give them the best hospitality that there is. And also compensate them for their time. So yes, I think those are the 3 pillars in which I would move forward with that $10 million.
Definitely. I like the sound of that. I would add to that. Well, you mentioned the whole doctor thing. I would probably turn it into a huge recovery center.
Yeah.
So like how we have and that would be right beside the performance strength and conditioning center. You know, them are gonna work coincide with each other.
Right.
So would I do something like that?
I know it's a pool of that for me there, right?
It's certainly for the hydrotherapy. Yeah, man, definitely. Why have we not seen persons participating in the EP and the deck? That was something where
Do you know that an athlete came to me and she said that she is a 180 high jumper. She can run 12.7 over the hurdles. She can long jump 6 meter 20. She said, Coach, may we do the hip, you know? I don't know about her strength because she maga like whiz. But you can but I've seen athletes with a different sort of body type who have thrown the discus or the shot put to different distances. But I am in agreement. We have not produced a hip athlete since Salsia Slack. Think about it. At the highest level. So we had like Maurice and those guys, Bernard, but we have not Claston. But we are, and the person on the forum has a great point. That is something again that we need to look at. You mentioned about the spreading across the divide in terms of the discipline. If we are going to say we are a superpower.
Yeah, certainly. Althea Peart, Coach, I am thinking from the World Championships, and I am asking, is this World Championship we have the most athletes doing PB and season best, including the Olympics?
Without me doing the assessment, it appears to me that it is one of those championships that we would have seen PBs, season best, and so on coming out. Again, I am very appreciative of this person going internal, not only to look at the medals, but I think this person is thinking long term.
Yep.
And so this is fantastic. And commendations to the person who came up with that.
Yeah, man. Let me see if I can highlight the person. That was Althea Peart. So they're looking beyond just the medals.
Somebody mentioned that they think Ashanti used to do the hip.
Yeah. She used to do it at Idol. But you know how champs go when you're in deficit, you have to,
they need some points.
Yeah, you need some points. You have to narrow down to, and she got strong in the sprints. So and being that coach is doing so well with her, you know, things say Imaga probably want to look there, so I get it. Why do we not extend this talent search beyond the school, such as neighborhood champs? I think we have a wealth of untapped talent, not in school. That's an interesting point, you know, Coach.
You know, that person is onto something, because I think in an interview I did, somebody mentioned about club champs. Do you know we used to find talent when we had the club championships? Some persons who would come to you and say, Coach, lend me one booger, no? You know what's a booger? You know what's a booger?
No one type of shoes.
On sneakers.
Oh.
So they weren't even used to running. And these guys would emerge as top talent. I can't remember the name of the guy who ran 400 for Windalco. Those days, Alcan, who emerged just off the street. And so, yes, there are talents out there.
Is it the same one they call Soji? What his nickname? I try to remember his name, you know.
No.
Okay, probably.
And there was a guy who came to GC faster. Started running when he was about 26. We call him Yellow, Reds.
Oh,
Barrett,
doing Barrett.
That man never ran before, and the man put together a series of 10 ones.
Yeah. Remember Barrett.
So there's talent out there, a lot of talent, especially long and middle distance. A lot of talent out there, and so I am in agreement with the person that we need to look at extending, recruiting the talent pool.
Somebody asked what happened to Sasha Lee Farb this year.
Sasha Lee it was last year, from last year December. She was out of training for 3 weeks. When she came back, she picked up an injury, and it has been ongoing. She suffered an injury with her ankle, and I don't think it was shin splint, but she was never the same person. And so we're hoping she has started some amount of light training now, that she should be in a better situation than last year, because she has been one of the most consistent athletes that we have had coming through the ranks. And she's an excellent relay person. But no, I mean, the pool has gotten stronger, so she has to be much better than she is now to get there.
Certainly. Coach used to coach Christopher Williams, 200 meters.
Yeah.
I think I one of him first senior athlete.
My first for many years. Yeah.
Made national teams, right? Under your tutelage.
Yeah, man. Somebody mentioned it was good to see Oakley. And somebody mentioned that Civil started out at Homewood. Of course.
Yeah.
He started at Homewood. Yeah. Someone mentioned Christopher Williams is coming from Mandeville Police Youth Club, and that person is so correct.
Oh, yeah?
This man is a historian. Police Youth Club, yes. And went through Alcan. Actually never ran. Went to Belfield High. Similar to Demish Gear. Demish Gear went to Belfield High School.
Yeah,
man.
Diamond in the rough, you pick up.
Boy, just lucky. Just lucky.
What do you think about our athletes? I have this conversation a lot, and I have my own version to what I think of it. But what are your thoughts on our top athletes leaving champs, going to the NCAs, or staying in Jamaica?
Going through, all right. So I have to be very careful, because whatsoever I want for my children, every time I decide to coach an athlete, I have to think about the parent wanting the same. I think if you are not exceptional and you don't stand the chance of getting a very, very good contract, and you are under very good guidance, and you get the opportunity to go abroad, to widen your horizons, to understand what it is to live in a different country, understand a culture, get the opportunity to communicate with other people, I think you should take up the opportunity. If you are 18, take up the opportunity. At 24, 25, or 23, you can graduate and you can make your decision. But if you're not in a position to get a very, very good contract and under very good management, I personally think, and once you go into college, you have to run NCs. You don't stand a chance.
No matter what
you could have deal.
My take on that is, I think it goes, and I think I agree with you on that part, on that point. But there's another part that I look at. If to me, I think education first. But the thing about it is that you might go in a situation where it's a hit or a miss for you. You could stay in Jamaica and it's a hit, and you could very well stay in Jamaica and it is also a miss, and vice versa in the United States. So I think it is a decision that you have to make, and when you make that decision, like I said about the kids that are moving to Turkey, once they make that decision, they have to live with that decision, whether it has a positive or a negative outcome. So for me, it's just a risk that these persons would have to take. But I would say, if they are not seen where they can get a lucrative deal, go on a school. If they can just leave high school and go pro, go for it. Once you can get a big deal, more than just a developmental deal, go on for it.
There are two questions on the forum. One about injuries and one about most of the college athletes performed poorly. Let me speak to the first one.
Yeah.
Injuries. I cannot recall any athlete that is exceptional that has never gotten an injury. But you know what is funny, coach? The athletes that comes to training every day, right? and is not the fastest.
But
Doesn't
train
get
hard.
and train hard.
But they not get
Does-
hurt. It
They
always
don't
happen
get
me,
hurt.
coach.
So,
Always.
so I am thinking that once the body has to supersede certain limits, it goes with the territory. I think what is important, is the management of it, one. And you mentioned all of this recovery. So it goes with the territory. And let me just bring you back to something that I can share with the public. And this is the analogy I use. The people them who race drag car at Dover, every day you see them on the road a drive? No. They're not a passenger car. They don't drive. They only drive on special occasions. So when you have a prime chip athlete, every time you put that athlete on the track, there's a risk. We don't have the best surfaces in Jamaica, whether it is be on the grass. And so any delicate slipping can create a problem. We do not necessarily have the best weight training equipment. We use a lot of free weights. So they are overly exposed. When an athlete goes into the gym, coach, and them feel them back, how many of them can find $12,000 for a chiropractor? I know a lot of the people I coach can do it. You understand what I'm saying? So once you are exposed to high-level training, there are going to be injuries. It is how it is managed. So sometimes when I hear coaches get a lot of beating, but every athlete them have them injured. Every time you try to push that button, you have to have something in place to prepare for what can happen. So that would be my response.
But you don't think some of the athletes are overtrained and not recovered well? Because remember, we have a problem with recovery and equipment and all of these things. So
Overtraining.
Yeah.
Overtraining is a huge word.
No, all right. Let
No. When I say no, it's a loaded word. And let me tell you what I said. Because it can be psychological and it can be physical.
Yeah.
So a man who, I have to be careful now, a man who compete for 5 years at the highest level as a junior, inclusive of character. And when he goes into a senior program, how many persons have the patience for him to sit out 2 years? Worse if the man come and he has a contract or whatever. You have to fulfill the obligations. And so therein lies a major problem. So you have to be very careful in terms of how you manage all of that process moving forward. But remember now, everything I'm saying is opinionated.
Yeah.
Because other coaches have different opinion.
Because when I say overtrain, I'm thinking on the lines of what is your rest system like?
Okay.
Great point, how many days you get to recover? In terms of not just using the equipment or the massage, just a rest day, 2 rest days, 3 rest days.
Do you know that you'll give an athlete a rest day? I have one particular athlete. You give that man a rest day, it's worse than a hard day. Because that rest day. So when the man next day, you think the man is well rested and recovered. It's a hard day for the man.
Yeah, me know what you're talking about.
And so I agree with you that a rest day must be a rest day. A rest day must be a rest day, boss.
Yeah, for real.
But again, coach, as you push the button, it's a thin line, not between love and hate, but between staying sharp and not getting injured.
Yeah, that is true. That is so true. People ask all like question them because we are going to coach also around here for the next.
So the burnout, between you and I, coach. Overtraining as one word that is attached to it, and burnout. So in my mind, burnout is psychological. So psychological meaning, and I'm answering, I think it's Joe Ladrick.
Yeah.
Burnout means that, hey, so I don't want to do this anymore.
Psychologically burnout. Tired.
I really want to go GC faster Monday morning, or I really want to go training Monday evening. Which one of them? And then now, overload now is physical.
Yeah.
the muscles, the tissues, the tendons, the joints. But the burnout, in my mind, is more psychological.
It's a mind part, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Overtraining or underresting, the perfect program with nutrition and weights will be nonsense with proper rest or without
Yes, sir.
proper rest.
Yes, sir. Excellent.
Hey coach, not just for this school aspect, but also the opportunity to set themselves up so they can look out for their families. Many of these kids comes from desolate background. Yeah, that's a good point. But when them going to the college,
what's the person saying? What?
I think they are alluding to the point that if they go overseas, it will also help them not just academically, but an opportunity to better their family, because some of them coming from a destitute situation or desolate. Sir, desolate. The person say yeah, desolate. Let me use the word that they use.
Most definitely.
It's called power recovery, like Coach Wilson said. I heard LaShawn Merritt, coach, who was a speaker at my level 2 coaching seminar, said that one of the biggest problem in coaching is overworking the athletes. He said LaShawn would finish his segment.
No, that's a great point, you know.
Yeah.
How do you draw the line between the amount of work that you do, which is the volume, the difficulty of the work, which is the intensity, and the rest and recovery, which is the density? How do you balance it? That is where the recipe for the soup comes into. You have to balance those variables. But guess what? No disrespect intended. Some of the athletes unbalance that, coach.
Yeah, because when you set a nice program on all of the density and the extensiveness and the volume, they go around it and probably go increase volume doing something else.
Coach, when I drink a Guinness, right, it takes me 2 days to recover. And I hear say, boy, athletes go to a party and they drink a buckler or a half buckler of Hennessy. Maybe Zachary can tell me. But I think you look, in my mind, when I recognize that happens, I'm looking at a week, you know.
So that is a setback.
Coach, every single day in the training program is recorded. So if it's a rest day, it is a counted day. And they don't understand that. And I know one of my good friends who has been chastising me from morning, he said, Coach, you need to tell them that. Coach Minzy, you talk about it every day. You tell them that every day. And they are young and strong, and so they don't feel the effects of it. But it comes back later on.
Yeah, the cells are breaking down, and because they not see it and them not feel it right away because of their youthfulness too. Them not feeling it, but it is happening. You can't go around that, you know. It is happening. That's a great thing. And when you look at what Glenn Mills said, he kind of cut down some of the volume and intensity on obliques workout because of some sort of things. So what hypothetically could be a case where that rest that he got from the limited volume and intensity would have caused him to be able to perform well at the championship too, with other things. So I'm just saying that, I mean, all of these things come into that. And one thing to, you know, coach, our athletes need to be professional. And I'm not saying all of them, but some of our athletes need to be professional. They have to treat it like a them job, because I really them job. You have to treat your body well if you want it to produce, so you can get that contract. You can extend your performance lifespan. So these are things that people need to be doing. Jonian is saying, is training personalized or there's a set program, or it depends? Coach can answer that. Me know the answer, but me and my coach answer it.
Training is supposed to be individualistic. Of course, you can have general things that you do because you deal with, most Jamaican coaches deal with large groups. And I had a serious challenge with Zachary the other day in our discussion, because he was thinking that, look here, man, you don't need more than 5, 6. But I'm old school, boss. I come where I see every youth as a star. Even though sometimes they will tell you, oh, Mr. Wilson treats some differently. Of course, if a man run 10-1 and you run 12 flat, there's a difference. It's not me. It means you come to training and say one, say the 10-1 man. So anywhere you go in life, that's how it is. However, I don't see myself just coaching 3 or 4 athletes. I think I have to give, because I come out of the high school setting, I have to give multiple opportunities. But you have to individualize the program at times. So it doesn't mean that Moore and Salmon, they're going to do the same program, but there might be even when there's acceleration. And they're doing acceleration. Together. But guess what? You may have to watch someone not running with Moore, you know, because guess what? You know, so someone faster than Moore. So that might be a problem. Just joking. So even though they're doing the same thing, you have to individualize the program. So the person is correct. Is a very correct question being asked in terms of individualization. You know the answer, Minzy. You're a trainer at one of the best institutions.
Most definitely. Objectivity is saying that's why Noah is having success. He eats, trains, and sleep well, along with the mental therapy. Yep, I think they spend a lot of money in that regard too. They have the facility, they have all that it takes to, ascend Noah to the pinnacle.
And I tell people, say our Jamaican fans, don't underestimate them. They are some of the best in the world. You heard what the person said? That is exactly what it is. Noah Lyles coach. I would have known this coach from 1997. From 1997, right? And I'm telling you that he has made mention of the professionalism of this young man. And it is something to emulate.
Hey, one thing I observed to coach, over the years, Puma used to get some of the top young athletes. But now, a year brand, the 3-stripe life, I get them. What's up with that? Your son gone.
Yeah. You need to interview. You're going to set up a thing for QBC Global, right? Because he will give you uncensored. So I can organize it. He will give you uncut. Zachary, you want to speak to that? Because
why?
Any opinion on it?
As to why?
No. What coach is saying that Puma used to get the top people, but Adidas is getting the top people.
I mean, Adidas just changed the game. I mean, over the last few years, the game changed, coach. I mean, some of the details I can't go into, but the game changed. Trust me, the game changed. And when you have people on the ground like QB and other agents as well, when they go into detail about what Adidas offers to these athletes and how Adidas help them or can help them, make that transition, you don't understand why people are select Adidas over any other brand right now. So.
Hey.
Somebody said Puma mute, coach.
Yeah.
That's the best one.
And then mute of it tune.
But listen up. Let me put it this way. You say Bolt. Bolt is the greatest sports human being I've ever been amongst. And for the respect for Bolt, Puma mute. But when I listen to like Zach, I wonder how these generation, or they just talk things so, and them uncensored and uncut, just talk, and then no, you have persons want me to speak like that. Zach, I'm not from that era.
Yeah,
I'm not from that era. You know?
You kind of cage and a little bit button up where it comes on to the spewing.
No, sir, we can't just talk raw like these guys, these new generation. We can't do it.
But I mean, QB must be doing something great, because it's in our nearly 4-hour conversation, he has come up probably 2 times each hour. So he must be doing something great. And we have to big up QB for Coach Wilson and Zaka heal him somewhat. That means he has been doing something.
All right, let me just say one thing with QB. In 2003, QB brought Nike to Jamaica full time, and that was the home of Tehnical High School. And he was associated with Adidas. But he didn't allow his association to dictate. Once they didn't move quickly on it, he went directly. And Nike came in and supported home with Tehnical from about 2003 all the way up to about 2015 or thereabouts. So this is a man, who would have brought Nike to Jamaica. He was also involved with numerous schools with Adidas, Manchester High School, I think Kingston College, Camperdown. And so he would have played his part. He's an advocate, and he's very strong on his points. But when you talk about action on the ground, he's an action man on the ground. And I do believe that irrespective of what is happening in the sport, we need to recognize that this man has adopted Jamaica as his home. And you may have some other agents out there jealous, but if any one of them can tell me, so they have brought more shoe sponsorship to Jamaica than QB, then I don't have an issue. So the man brought Nike, and he has been fully involved with Adidas when it comes to our local athletes. And that has taken a lot of strain of coaches and institutions. What more can I say?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm not forgetting flowers. Big up QB Sigoven. Hassan is saying he's going to give an inside. They provide education and contract in the contract and health for the athletes. Now, if that is why they're going, then I think they're making a good choice. Big up the athletes them. And Hassan is saying that QB is the best agent out there. Yeah, based on what everybody has said, we have to give him it, Big up to QB again. Did original Puma manager switch to Adidas? Yes, that was one of the things I heard. That happened. So I guess that probably would have been the great occurrence of what is taking place with the athletes getting over on Adidas side. Coach, any final words? Because me not see the question them are coming, and I think could have touched a whole lot of points where Jamaica's track and field is concerned. Tokyo, your personal club and athletes. I know some people might want to hear the Taekwondo Tracy thing, but you had spoken on that before over on HP chat track. So I don't know. I don't feel like I want to talk about that. That probably answered already. So I don't want to get back into that. I don't know if you want to mention anything on it, but any final thoughts you want to share before we close out the show? Oh, one question. Are Cuban coaches at GC Foster? Because I know when I was there was some collaboration and Cubans came over to help us in the jumps and the technical events. Is that still ongoing?
No, we have Cuban trained coaches. So we had Cubans coming in, for example, for baseball and so on. But now we just have Cuban trained coaches.
Okay.
The truth be told, we have, no disrespect intended, I think we have superseded certain levels in terms of the coaching now. And what really can happen or should happen is complementing. So coaches complementing, not necessarily fully educated, because I think our coaches are at a particular level. So what we have are Cuban trained coaches, right?
Oh yeah, that sounds good. The alternates, why can't there be something put in place for alternates to travel with the team? I know it is kind of difficult with them being in the village and all of these things, but what can be done? Keep them on the hotel, and if them can go train just in case, because we see where people injure and alternates they're way over some back in Jamaica and can't reach.
My humble response is that in my mind, it has to be a financial situation. Is it the best fit? I don't think so. But more than likely, it was a financial consideration. That's all I can say on that particular matter. It's not within my forte.
Okay, but a suggestion that you can bring back to the powers that be. since we know that alternates will be a part of teams going forward, can we now start to seek out external sponsorship to get at least? So you seek out for 10, and if you get for 5, you cover the 5, and then if there's more than the 5, then something can be put in place so these alternates travel and accommodations taken care of. Because we would love to see a situation if alternates are not the athletes cannot run, the alternates is there so that they can replace them. I don't
Well,
know.
coach, me run out of pen, ink, and paper for the amount of notes so me have to take for bring back.
Well, I hope all of them go. I hope they will get it. If I even want to scribble up part on the paper.
The president might just say to me, say, listen, no, man, don't come back up at what's the name later, whatever avenue again. Just stay where you are, man. Stay over Spanish Town. But
or
yeah,
you
man,
can get the president to come on so we talk to him instead.
No, I think he would be amenable. So I have 2 things to work on with you on QB and the president.
All right, no problem. That would be good. Would I want to hear from President God Gilman? So, final thoughts, so we can close off the show.
Well, first, I just want to congratulate you. You're an excellent representation of what the college is all about. The fact that you were in Carol Beckford's class, and these were points that you would have discussed, and you are now a pioneer, and you have been doing extremely well. Even though sometimes your headlines would have thrown me off, this man again and that, but it's a part of the game, it's a part of the podcasting.
Yeah.
But your knowledge, the information out there, your audience is fantastic. They're intelligent, smart, knowledgeable. And I just want to congratulate you on the platform. For me personally, to some extent, I feel as if I am overly exposed. I'm a very, I wouldn't say secretive, but I tend to confine my thoughts. And when I do an interview, I do it because I have to do it. And for me to come out here and be free and feel free, it's the second time I'm doing it since the start of the year. I feel some amount of joy, but in the same way, it is not necessarily me. So I'm happy I was able to still come out. So I'm also building a different side of my personality.
Yeah.
Even though I'm at this stage and age, right? Also to state that I'm an educator, but I try to create a good balance. I have to deal with multiple personalities. And so I tend not to be the conventional type of leader in any way or form. And I'm a amiable person, man. I'm somebody you can just come up and talk to. Don't watch my face. Don't watch how I behave. I'm just, as I said, I'm from the cadet origin. I think our track and field is alive and well. We're going through phases with the quarter mile coaching. I love when the audience beating us because it gets us to move. We have to fix this 400. We cannot afford East Africa to come and take over this part of the sprints. And once we have a certain cadre of coaches, our short sprints are alive and well. And we also have to look in terms of strengthening the multidisciplinary activities, the throws and the jumps and so on. But I think we are in a good place. So overall, we have to look forward to the Olympics and plan for it moving forward.
Zach.
And I just want to thank, just before you go, I just want to thank all the agents and all the supporters online, those who throw punches, those who never throw. I think we depend on that sort of energy. Even if you think it's negative, it doesn't matter. It motivates us. When we're there, we see the persons in the stand. It makes a huge difference. So just big up. I'm happy to be a Jamaican and happy to have the support of the Jamaican people. But they consider it negative or positive.
Yeah. Zach.
Yeah, coach. I think what you're doing right now is very good. So I respect you for the platform. As it relates to the people in the chat, try to read as much as possible, and a lot of people have a lot of knowledge in the chat. So I want to say big up everybody in the chat who will stay for the full 4 hours and listen to the truth or what we have to say and what we have to discuss. are the real fans of track and field. So big up to you. And yeah, just big up to all the athletes and all the stakeholders this year. Yeah, and all the stakeholders this year. I think it was a very good showing, and just shows how shows the depth of Jamaican track and field, how we can find so many medals, some not expected, some expected, and we still never have a lot of, or almost definite medalists performing at their best or even at the championship. So I think things look up, and can only hope for the best moving forward. But yeah, big up everybody.
Yeah, man.
I see somebody in here mention something
Yeah.
about president. I just want to debunk that because we know but have divorce will be filed quick and fast.
Yeah.
So you can't move from coach to president. And somebody else also said, boy, I'm full of chat. And that's why I say, people say, boy, me standoffish and so on. But if you engage me, I talk with you, man. I talk. But I don't really think I have a whole chat. It's just that I have some amount of experience and I just tell you as it is. Not forthright, but tell you what my experiences are.
Yeah. And we kind of understand from the standpoint you're coming from, Coach Wilson, why you would want to, say certain things to put people under the bus, so to speak. You understand? But I appreciate the compliments from you and your son, Zach. Thank you first and foremost for taking the invitation to be here. Big up the whole Sprint Tech team, the whole GC Foster. You have more work to do come Monday morning because you have some young adults to deal with.
Yes, sir.
You understand? And a nation that is depending on you as well to produce quality educators going out there to impact and impart knowledge to the wider society. So continue to do what you're doing. It is a big task, national representative and also national representative when it comes on to societal development. So you wear well hats, there's Sir Wilson. And this has been a long time coming, and we're happy that you took the time out to be here on the show. And don't watch the headline all the time, man. I encourage people to listen to what I'm saying. Of course,
The substance.
The substance is there. I am not one to bash like coaches and athletes because I've been there doing the do too. So I know how athletes feel when coaches turn up the pressure, the 220 volt. I understand from a coach's standpoint, and it is never my wish and desire and intention to speak bad or ill of any coaches. You understand? So I don't want nobody see that platform. I'm afraid of it. So you're welcome at any time, Coach Wilson. Anytime. No, y'all get busy now because you come off a well-deserved vacation. And Zach, you're welcome again as well. And people, Coach Wilson have assignment for you, At the first show him come and get assignment, You must go release some messages to the president. And you must try get the president on the show and also the big bad agent, QB Sigobit. Again, guys, thank you for sticking and staying.
One last thing before you meet Coach. You see succession planning also for the national program. So that is something that I have spoken with a number of guys because we're not going to be around forever. We'll always provide the support, similar to what Coach Mills would have done with me in the early days and BQ. So we have to think about succession planning. Because we're getting younger each day and we're educators, so we have to pass on the baton. So we're ready anytime. So we just need the guys to be disciplined and just get themselves ready. Because we have to move on. Yeah,
man, definitely. And again, thank you again, gentlemen.
Blessings every time.
Stay safe. We chat again. Until next time. People, big up on yourself. Thanks for the persons who donated to the show. Wendy, Algie from over Canada, super chat, super sticker. I don't know it going up, people. Big up to our sponsors with the jerk flavor. Big up yourself. Ketchup vibes, jerk sauce. I don't know it go. All right. Until next time, people.
Your style, your flavor, make the city rock. They must say the season come out with a bang. Coach Minzy, best round here. Remember that.